with the roof-and-alls that are going on right now in Nashville. Like, there were last month 41 different people on record that were roof-and-alled.
Wow.
And there was a door guy, when we were there, he got roofied, followed home, and they robbed his entire place.
Yeah, it's not just young females that are getting roofied, apparently. And this, I'm sure, is not just Nashville. I'm sure this is most any big city.
But, I mean, Nashville, walking around Broadway, you know, the one night we did, I mean, there's just so many people, like, I mean, these people are getting preyed on.
Yeah.
It's amazing Rex Ryan was there because we met somebody that you're still talking to that we really can't get into. But, like, how many different people were in Nashville that weekend?
Yeah.
By the way, you're ready to come on the show again.
Rex is?
No, Kentucky Sports Radio's Matt Jones.
Well, he and Lance had a dust-up last time.
Yep.
Does he remember that?
He did not. Did not remember
Did you bring it up? You're like, well, last time you came on, we asked, Lance brought up the fact that Joey Gatewood's obviously not a good quarterback, A, because he's at Kentucky, B, because he's not starting at Kentucky, and you got pissy about it. I mean, I think Lance, in the long run, was pretty spot on about this one.
He remembered, he goes, I used to go on a radio station, Jocks, occasionally.
Yeah.
And I did, are you with Jocks? And I was like, no, we used to be, though. And he did not tie it together at that point. But he was very nice. We had a great conversation.
Really?
Yep.
So you apparently didn't file him away in your tub, right?
And he said, I'm not expecting us to call him, but I was we talked a little bit, and then he said, as he got up to leave, he said, have your producer call me. I'd love to come back on your show.
Yep.
And I said, sure will, man.
All right. I think he's on at the same time we are.
He was a nice guy.
Okay. Listen, he
nicer
probably
in person than I expected.
I mean, it was one time, so maybe we shouldn't judge the guy on the one time, but he did get all pissy with Lance, and Lance was 100% correct in what he was saying.
I don't care one way or another if we ever have him on again. It doesn't bother me. The last time we actually showed footage when he was talking about Kentucky making a run to the college football playoff.
Yeah. Should at least start off 5-0.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't even have to play very good
to beat Auburn. That's Trash brought to you by Mortgage Right.
Yeah, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process so easy. Speaking of veterans, veteran founded right here in Birmingham. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call the Birmingham office, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
And as you guys always do, go help us out with our mybookie.ag bracket that we have right there at nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com, free to play. And you will win. It's a local winner. It's not a national competition. It's not $1 million. Free to play. Local winners, rules and details right there at mybookie.ag's bracket challenge. Look for the icon, nextroundlive.com. And starting tomorrow, online, we'll do the Shannara Showdown as well.
Yeah, we'll start with San Diego State, North Carolina. You pick the game against the number. You win. You're in a drawing to win gift cards from our friends at Alexander Shannara. $1,000, $500, $250.
All right. All that at nextroundlive.com. So go there and play both. Nextroundlive.com. That's our show today. We're back with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time again. Check out all the extra content, including our bracket release show from Odie's yesterday. It's available on our platform, on our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you guys so much. God bless you. God bless America.
Do you need some more fresh college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light. is on now.
All right, welcome in. It's officially March Madness because we had playing games last night and one of our chairs is empty because Jim Dunaway is on his way to Cleveland, Ohio for Alabama in the NCAA Tournament. Taylor Korn, our social media director, on her way to Lexington, Kentucky for Auburn in the NCAA Tournament. So when we start hitting planes, you know it is here.
Percentage chance both make it to the second weekend.
Jim and Taylor or Alabama and Auburn?
No. We hope both Jim and Taylor make it to the second weekend. Talking about both Alabama and Auburn.
I would say, you can't go 100% because it's the NCAA Tournament. 85%?
Yeah, I was going to go 90. I was going to go 90. Yeah.
85, 90%. I would feel comfortable with that.
Look, Auburn to lose in the first round, 116, we've only seen it twice.
Yep.
Alabama 215, I think we've only seen that 4 or 5 times.
I think you're right.
I don't think either one of those is a possibility. Now, the second round matchups, they do get interesting.
Well, we will ask the question a little bit later on, and we have some history behind this. This is not just us, just throwing crap against the wall. Is Louisville historically underseeded? Now, Auburn doesn't necessarily play Louisville. They may play Creighton.
Now, has something come up to show this? Do you got some backing
that's
data
what I'm saying.
here?
I'm not.
Well, because here's all I can think about. Watching North Carolina, and we had another Calcutta last night, but I was home for the entire second half of the North Carolina, actually for the end of the first half when R.J. Davis stuck another 3 with seconds, and that's exactly when you knew the game was over. It was probably over before because
but that definitely ended it.
San Diego State is offensively challenged, we shall say.
San Diego State is not an NCAA tournament team.
Okay, all I could think about, though.
Can I just quickly say, if we want to argue, I think after last night you say North Carolina should have been in that game. It's San Diego State we should have been arguing about, right?
Yeah. I think it was because North Carolina, the brand.
Well, the committee said North Carolina was the last team in, so it's who we argue about. But I watched last night, and I'm like, we were arguing about the wrong team.
There was a opportunity. Carolina had shot a 3, and it was one of the few that they missed. They hit 14 last night. Well, I just got stopped in my tracks. I have not seen Tyler without a hat ever.
Well, we were asked that, I think, in the chat room yesterday. I think somebody said, I would like to see Tyler without a hat. And did you read that in the chat room and decide not to go hat today?
I saw it in the chat room, but I already had a appointment to get my hair cut yesterday. So
how often do you get your hair cut, Tyler?
Maybe twice a year.
Hey, it is funny,
Wait
though.
A minute, twice a year?
Maybe. Sometimes I've gone a couple of years without a haircut before.
A couple of years.
Yeah, when I first got here, my hair was down to my shoulders.
I was it every 2 weeks. Now I'm about every 3 to 4, but I've got one today, and I never wear a hat the day I've got to get the hair cut because it completely throws my man Roney off.
Yeah, no, I've been told that. Like, if you're going to get your hair cut, don't wear a hat because it makes that ring in the back of your head. It mats the hair down. It's just a mess. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't wear a ton of hats anyway, but I certainly don't want to get my hair cut.
Well, now we know. Like, when you're not wearing a hat, Jeeves is getting the haircut.
That's right. I am shocked you get your haircut only twice a year. I literally get mine every other week.
I feel
and you
like
have far more hair than I do.
I get to a point where I say, yep, it's getting a little too long. I need to make one.
So it's just a fill thing for you?
Yeah, sometimes I struggle to actually make the appointment and be like, yep, I'm going to go this day.
Yeah. Okay. You struggle to make that appointment.
It falls off the...
Do you have a normal guy or you just go somewhere like Head Start or Sports Clubs or something like that?
Dude, you think he's got a normal guy if he's going twice a year?
Twice a year? I just wondered, do you use the same person?
So I used to just kind of go anywhere, wherever could just see me that day.
Right.
But I've found a place that I really like.
Oh, okay. See? He does have a guy.
Okay.
Is it a guy or a girl?
It's a girl.
Okay.
Good
I'm not
conversation.
judging, I'm just wondering, Yeah, what do y'all talk about while she's cutting? Movies?
Yeah, movies.
Yeah,
That's about all I got to talk about these days.
Well, you're wearing short sleeves. She's going to be talking about your ink today, right?
That's right.
That actually didn't get brought up.
Okay. Probably sees it a lot. Anyway, back to my point. Have we maybe slept on the ACC just a little?
Well, that's going to be one of the talking points in this tournament. Have we given the SEC too much love, and have we slept on the ACC too little? Now, the problem with that is, for you to make that argument, North Carolina probably needs to keep advancing. They're going to do that, by the way, against an SEC team. So there's your first piece of the argument. If North Carolina beats Ole Miss, it strengthens that argument, right?
Yeah, well, look, and I do think Clemson is really good. And a lot of people, Pat Kelsey's your ACC Coach of the Year for Louisville. I think Louisville's good. But maybe those three teams and Duke are just really good, and some of these ACC teams like in North Carolina that really came on at the end of the year. I mean, they knew that they had to win a lot of games, and the way they lost to Duke, outside of Duke, those two losses, they played great down the stretch.
But if I tell you that after round one, when we go to bed Friday night, North Carolina has lost to Ole Miss, Clemson has lost to McNeese, and Louisville has lost to Creighton, you're also not going to be stunned by that.
Well, I'm not going to be. Well, I would be stunned if they all lose.
Yeah.
But if they do, put a stamp. It was. The ACC was pathetic.
We'll know.
But I've got a feeling that Clemson's going to make a little run here.
I think Clemson will beat McNeese.
I think North Carolina's probably going to beat Ole Miss.
It's a tough one. We should have a point spread on that. Have you looked at it?
I would say that Ole Miss is a 1-point favorite.
Okay, so it's basically a coin flip.
It'll be a coin flip.
As is Creighton and Louisville. It's a little less of a coin flip.
I think Louisville's 2.5 right now.
They are.
I kind of like Creighton in that game. I think Clemson will make a little run. I think North Carolina will make a run. I think obviously Duke is a 1 seed.
You watched North Carolina.
Make a deep run.
Yeah, you watched North Carolina last night, and you can easily talk yourself into them making a run. When you watch a play last night, and then you have to remember they're playing, a San Diego State team that probably didn't even belong there.
Well, here's the one thing that we have said about North Carolina. Carolina is a team that has an elite scorer that's been playing a lot of basketball in R.J. Davis. You saw it last night, 8 of 12 from the field, 6 of 6 behind the arc, ended up with 26 points. Carolina hits 14 threes. They shoot almost 53% from the floor. When a team's making their shots against, say what you want about San Diego State. San Diego State is a really good defensive team.
Yeah.
And they didn't look like it last night. So North Carolina had a point to prove. I give Hubert Davis a lot of credit. If you're a Carolina fan, you probably hate this because it is going to be difficult based on the extension before the season, them not only getting to the tournament, but the way they won that game last night on national television is something that's going to jump out. So if you're Bubba Cunningham, I don't know if you can fire him now. Do you agree?
Yeah, now that he's in the tournament, especially if you win a couple games. They're a 1.5 favorite over Ole Miss, so we've got an 11 favorite over a 6, a 12 favorite over a 5. You don't see that an awful lot.
So your most common upset, what do you think it is? Everybody says it's 12-5. And we had 2 of those last year.
I thought you meant an actual game this year. You mean like in seeding?
Yeah.
Yeah, almost every. People say you get a 12-5 every year. I don't know that statistically or historically that's true, but you do feel like every year I get a 12 beating a 5.
Percentage-wise, 11s win almost 40% of their first-round games.
Yeah. So
11 is actually the team that actually wins more, pulls off the upset more than the 12s.
And if I'm not mistaken, the 10s win more than the 7s. And
so the 11, it goes 11s, 10s, and then, once you get to
8, 9's a flip of the coin. Those are the same
But
team.
11, 10, then 12.
Yeah. So it's 11, 10, 12 in terms of winning percentage.
Yeah, first round. And I think at 11 is 133 of the last 39 tournaments since we went to the expansion of 64 teams.
So I get the feeling if I forced you to pick an 11 to put your money behind, you'd go North Carolina right now. Or VCU. You like VCU too? We talked about them yesterday.
I just drafted VCU. We do a round robin, a snake draft where there's 8 of us and we select 6 teams each. We are in the 5th round. I just took VCU.
I tell you,
I like VCU.
The 11s are some sexy teams. We don't know one of the 11s.
I know you don't like VCU because of this altitude game.
Lance, they've got to travel all the way across America and climb a mountain. There's no way they're going to win.
They got
this
to
game.
Denver early. Do you know that?
I did. Yeah. Do you know how long it takes you to acclimatize when you're at that elevation?
I think scientifically it says 47 hours.
47. So right at tip, they're going to be just
I think they're tipping like 51 hours, so they're going to be ready to roll.
What time is that tip? Let me look right here.
Hyperbaric chambers for all of them, for all the Rams.
3:05 tomorrow is that tip. No, I would have gotten out there early too. No joke.
Yeah, they did. I'm seriously not kidding when I say that.
Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt it. The first time I ever went to Colorado. And I was up in Steamboat Springs, the first time I've ever been to Colorado. And I don't know what the elevation is up there, 10,000 something.
It's high.
10,000
higher than Mount Cheehaw, what you're used to.
A bit higher than Bald Rock and Mount Cheehaw.
Yeah.
I thought that was all a bunch of bunk, like that whole elevation thing, until I climbed my first flight of stairs out there. And I had to stop and catch my breath. And I'm like, holy crap, this is a real thing. Like, I knew that there was an issue, but I thought it probably got overplayed a little bit until I actually had to climb a flight of stairs. Climbed one flight of stairs, and I'm out of breath, and I wasn't in bad shape.
How about this? I got a buddy that lives out there that listens to us, and he had part of his lung taken out because he had cancer.
Yeah, I've never understood this. He's got half a lung.
Yeah, and he's still in Denver.
Yeah. Seems like that would be the worst place to live with half a lung.
But maybe not.
Yeah. So anyway, we will talk about Louisville maybe being historically underseeded. Again, Auburn may not get Louisville. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But I also want to tell you about Way to Wellness. Dunaway is not here today. He's shrunk away to a mannequin, basically. But he is shrinking, man. You can really see it when I see Jim every morning, how much weight he is down, thanks to Leslie and the crew.
He's a mullet away from being the Crypt Keeper.
John Clayton.
Can you pull the Crypt Keeper for us, Tyler?
A mullet away.
What are we going to do with no Tyler and Dunaway back and forth today?
I don't know. It's a budding rivalry, wouldn't you say?
It really is.
It's a budding rivalry.
Tyler's got him in the chamber. Yeah, there's Dunaway. He just needs that mullet.
Yeah, grow a mullet, and Jim is wilted away to nothing. He's Way to Wellness has him skin and bones.
Well, I mean, I think when he walked in yesterday, he said he was 71 pounds.
Hey, no, I'll tell you where Dunaway is. Well, the airport right now, but I'll tell you where he actually is in life. Is he's to the point, and I love being here. He's like, I'm trying to stop losing weight, and I can't stop it. And that's when you're like, I feel like I can eat anything I want to eat and keep losing weight. And that's a great place to be. Now, you only stay there for like a week or two.
Yeah.
But, boy, when you're there, it is fun to eat anything you want to eat and keep losing weight. Way to Wellness, a long way of saying is why Jim has gotten to this point. Planforme.com, planforme.com at Way to Wellness. That is where you go. Why is it a planforme.com? Because it's a customized plan for you. To get in the best shape of your life, potentially. And not only that, it's not just the weight, it's also the numbers that go along with the weight to make sure you're healthier. Leslie and her crew, they're board certified. They make sure you've got the perfect plan. Planforme.com, that's the place to start. Planforme.com with Way to Wellness. Also, Hemp Hill Services.
And remember, we get this fluctuation of weather.
Yep.
You know, it's like 30-degree differences from night and day sometimes. Absolutely insane. My allergies are killing me just because I'm turning on the AC, you're turning on the heat, you're back and forth. Make sure you call the best in the business. That is our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Stay attuned at nextroundlive.com and at Next Round Live on social media. All of our social media. Next Round Live is where we are. And you'll get a ton of coverage from both Lexington and Cleveland. Dunaway on his way to Cleveland. Taylor on her way to Lexington right now for the Auburn region.
Never been to Cleveland.
Region. I have not either.
I've heard the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is really cool.
Jim is going to be staying very close to it, so I'll see if he goes. Would you have?
I would definitely go.
If you were in Cleveland, you'd go.
Yeah, I know you guys would play golf. You drink out of the river.
I don't know about playing golf in Cleveland.
You might canoe.
Yeah.
But I would definitely go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't know what else there is to do in Cleveland. I mean, if there's a Cavs game tonight.
I don't know. I would think the arena is handed over to the NCAA for the entire weekend. I imagine the Cavs are on a pretty good road trip here. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is probably something I would do. I think Jim's staying just a couple blocks from it. If I remember the orientation of where the arena is and the Hall of Fame, I think they're only a few blocks away. So Jim's right there.
Yeah, Cavs are on a West Coast trip anyway.
The old West Coast.
Before I said it.
Gotta get out of there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I would walk over. I mean, what else is there to do? The West Side Market.
Now, Baker Mayfield.
You got the House from A Christmas Story.
You know, I'm going to pass on that.
I think
pass on that, too.
Awful movie.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that movie, and I'm certainly not going to drive to see a house that was just an exterior shot.
The Cleveland Museum of Natural History. Is that a dog? Is that dog bones, or is that a stegosaurus?
Looks like a dinosaur.
Okay. Stegosaurus. Probably not good to have dog bones.
Yeah. The Metro Parks Zoo, they've got an elephant, it appears. Very Alabama there.
I've had my zoo fix for the last decade.
Okay, so you go once a decade.
They've got an aquarium there.
An aquarium, the Cleveland Aquarium.
I like aquariums.
I don't hate aquariums, but once you've been to the Georgia Aquarium, I think it's considered the best in America.
Yeah, I mean,
when you've seen the best.
You've got whale sharks, you've got penguins.
Yeah. I've also been to the one up in Chattanooga, the Tennessee Aquarium. I don't know if you've been to that.
I have not. I've been to the one in New Orleans.
Yeah.
The thing that stood out to me about New Orleans was the piranhas and how actually big a piranha's teeth can get when you get a full-size piranha.
Yeah. There's a lot more to do in Cleveland, I would have thought, by the way.
I've heard it's actually a good city. You know, it's got that rap is dirty and, I don't know, iron, blue collar.
Yeah. What is that? That's the Museum of Illusions?
Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. It looks like sort of a McWayne Center, Ripley, Believe It or Not type
had a baby.
vibe.
Yeah. But I rarely watch a Cleveland Browns game and think, boy, it looks nice in Cleveland today.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you watch a Browns game and think, oh, I wouldn't mind living in Cleveland?
Can't even watch a Guardians game on a summer afternoon and think it's nice.
Yeah, I don't. And I know I'm judging them by the worst weather they get.
Did Alabama not play in Cleveland years ago?
Yep. I think they played at Cleveland State, though. I think Cleveland State hosted that region, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think they have played
Do
in
you
Cleveland
remember when
before.
Mouse Davis and Cleveland State pulled was either a 14 over a 3 or a 15 over a 2 back in the 80s?
Do you remember?
I want to say it was Syracuse. No, it was Indiana. I'm almost positive it was Indiana.
Yeah.
Because Syracuse lost to Richmond
I
as
do
a
think
2.
you're right. I think it was Indiana.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some of the point spreads. MyBookie.ag. If you interrupt me when you see one that you are passionate
We'll try
about.
to interrupt you a lot today.
Uh-oh. Why change now, right?
Right.
Tonight, the American Eagles, 2.5 point favorites. Texas, a 3-point dog against Xavier.
I think that one's going to jump out to people because, Xavier's probably had as much or more basketball success throughout their history. I mean, is that fair?
In Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. With that said, though, Texas is the brand. They're coming out of the SEC. I don't think we've ever seen, well, not only one, but now 2 teams that are 6 games below 500 in their conference get at-large bids. But Texas is still coming out of the SEC. The out-of-conference wasn't any good, but this is interesting that they are an underdog.
Yeah, 3-point underdog there in Dayton. Playing for the 11th seed, winner gets Illinois. And I'm telling you, if I'm Illinois, man, Xavier or Texas, I guess a 6-11 is supposed to be a tough matchup. That's a pretty tough matchup if I'm Illinois right there.
I don't know if I brought this up on the show. A lot of people out there that go through all their bracket numbers probably know this. But an 11 seed, or I should say a first 4, has won a first-round game in 13 of the last 14 years. So it's got to be either North Carolina now or the winner of Texas Xavier.
I mean, I don't know if this is a thing or not, but
I think it's North Carolina.
If I'm the 6th seed, like if I'm BYU, I've had since Sunday to prep for VCU. All my practices have been VCU, and then we travel and win. If I'm Missouri, I've had since Sunday to prep for Drake. I mean, if I'm Illinois, I've had to work on 2 teams. If I'm Ole Miss, I've had to work on 2 teams.
I mean that is difficult.
It is. I mean, we focus on how tough it is to get out of Dayton. It's not exactly easy for the 6th seed either.
No, you asked Stephen Pearl yesterday, how do they scout both Alabama State, St. Francis, by the way, incredible ending in that game last night.
We'll get to that in a second, yeah.
So it's one thing when you're scouting 16s when really you don't even have to look. I mean, you can roll the ball out there. You're going to win by 20 plus.
I know they did a scout and they practiced for Alabama State, but they could win that game no matter what.
But yeah, this is much different when you're prepping for 2 completely different styles in San Diego State and North Carolina if you're Chris Beard.
Yeah, it just seems like that. I'm not going to say it's not fair, but maybe it's not fair to the 6th seed. I don't know. All right, continuing with the MyBookie.ag point spreads. Louisville, a 2.5 point favorite over Creighton. Winner of that game gets Auburn. A very popular upset pick, probably too popular now. Purdue is an 8-point favorite over High Point. You would say that has been a sexy upset pick.
Oh, yeah, and I'll tell you, High Point drew some action in Monday and Tuesday night's Calcutta. So people believe in this up-tempo offense for High Point, and boy, they do run a crisp offense. But you just wonder, how it's going to be after a week off and how it's going to be with the lights on, big stage, that kind of stuff.
Wisconsin, a 17-point favorite over Montana. Houston, a 29-point favorite over SIU Edwardsville. Auburn, we have an official point spread now, 32-point favorite over Alabama State.
So I think that would officially go down as the biggest upset in NCAA history because I don't think, based on the Virginia style of play when they lost to Baltimore, Maryland County or whatever, and the same with Purdue over Fairleigh Dickinson, I think those numbers were in the low 20s.
They were big numbers, but they weren't 32. Clemson, I'll give you Alabama State money line right now if you want to take it.
I'm going to pass.
Okay. Yeah. Clemson, 7.5-point favorite over McNeese State. That's another very popular upset of pick with McNeese State.
I'm telling you, I wanted Clemson so bad in our draft. I think Clemson is a team a lot of people are sleeping on.
By the way, they're not going to lose their coach now, it doesn't appear. Brad Brownell did not get the Indiana job. A lot of people just thought he was waiting for the Indiana job.
Formerly of Drake. That's 1 year at West Virginia.
Yeah, the weekend for West Virginia just got worse.
Yeah, it really did.
I mean, what a bad weekend for West Virginia basketball.
Yeah. But, I mean, this is a guy that is well respected when you're talking about the X's and O's. Used to coach under Greg McDermott, and now gets an opportunity to maybe rebuild this culture at Indiana. Something's been off Indiana basketball.
Tough to figure.
It's hard to believe that Indiana football is in a better spot right now with Kirk Cignetti.
That's true.
But in the moment, it is.
Yeah. BYU, a 3-point favorite over VCU at altitude.
Wrong team favorite.
Gonzaga, a 6-point favorite over the Georgia Bulldogs.
They've got and you can check this out too at MyBookie if you want. They've got the 9th shortest odds to win the national championship right now.
Yeah, as an 8 seed?
Yeah. I haven't seen that ever.
It's very odd. There's some strange seeding. We're going to talk about Louisville seeding in just a little bit, but Gonzaga's is pretty strange too. Tennessee, a 19-point favorite over Wofford. Kansas, a 4.5-point favorite over Arkansas. Yale and Texas A&M. Texas A&M, a 7.5-point favorite. That's another one that has caught some upset action for a lot of people. I think a lot of people are buying into Yale doing it to Auburn last year. I haven't watched Yale all year, but hey, here we go again. They're playing an SEC team that sometimes can be challenged scoring the ball. Let's do it again.
Well, and Yale is one of these teams. Now they've got the tournament experience. I don't think the lights are going to be too bright for them. And Yale is a team that has been on fire. They've won 16 of 17. You look at the other side of the coin here. A&M is 2-5 in their last 7 going into this tournament. So they have been shaky at best.
Drake, another popular upset pick, is a 6.5-point dog. Missouri, 6.5-point favorite in that game.
I heard a guy earlier this morning saying Drake will win this game. There's a good chance they win 2 games. I'm not buying it. I think Missouri is finally healthy. Missouri, much like A&M, though, very shaky at the end of the season.
UCLA, a 5.5-point favorite over Utah State. St. John's, a 19-point favorite over Omaha. Michigan, a 2.5-point favorite over UC San Diego. That's another 12-5. That is a 2.5-point line right there.
Yeah,
12-5.
Basketball insiders really respect this Creighton team. And I don't know how good San Diego is. We shall see. But I will tell you this, Michigan is peaking at the right moment. You've got multiple 7-footers. You probably remember just 2 years ago in Florida Atlantic with Vlad Golden. If you're a UAB fan, you definitely remember this 7-footer was in the Final Four. But now you got a guy in Danny Wolf that, some people might call this guy soft, but, he's almost a point center at legit 6'11", 7 feet. He can run the point. He can shoot it from 3, but multiple 7-footers that are doing a lot right now in this Dusty May offense. I think Michigan's extremely dangerous. I don't understand why they're a 2.5-point favorite. That's the one thing that scares me. If Michigan can get past San Diego in this first round, I think Michigan can make a little run here.
Oh, interesting. So you like what Dusty May is doing?
I do, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. One more game, and we'll move on because these are all the Thursday games. We'll talk some about the Friday games later on. Texas Tech, a 15.5-point favorite over UNC Wilmington. One look ahead on Friday. Bama still a 23-point favorite over Robert Morris. Alabama State advanced last night to take on the Auburn Tigers in a very fun game. I mean, the play-in games are the play-in games to me. I don't, you know how I stand. I don't feel like these teams feel like they're in the NCAA tournament. They're having to go to Dayton. They're in their way in. Doesn't mean the games can't be fun. And that first one was a fun game.
Oh, man, that outlet lob pass, the scramble for the ball, and then to put it off the glass with, 0.7 seconds left. I mean, a heartbreaking loss for St. Francis, but, man, for Alabama State, and I don't know if you saw in the locker room after the game just how excited those guys are. And you're going to get beaten to a pulp in the next game for Auburn.
32-point dog.
But you can say, I know you and I disagree with this, but if you're Alabama State, you can say we won an NCAA tournament game.
It goes down as a win historically, and they get the money. Cut 5, if you don't mind, Tyler. I'm sorry. I know you're about to do something else there. Cut 5. Let's hear from their head coach, Tony Madlock. After the win, this is one of the issues. Like, if I win my conference tournament, it's probably a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. I get to savor that for a minute, enjoy it. They get to savor this for about, I don't know. We'll ask Coach how long you get to savor it before you have to go play Auburn.
When you win a game like this, the demands of the tournament is you move on. Yeah. How long can you savor this before it clicks in that you're about to play the number 1 seed in the tournament?
I don't know. I'm going to figure that out tonight. But I know we're going to enjoy this tonight. We're going to have this bus ride, I guess a couple hours down the road to Lexington, get a chance to play at Rupp Arena. I mean, how can you beat that? How can you beat that for a school, again, in the SWAC that has, a lot of great tradition for us to go play in Rupp Arena? Nothing like it. We can't wait.
I love that attitude.
I do too, man.
Yeah.
You know, for guys that play for teams like Alabama State, it is all about winning the SWAC and having this opportunity just to say you were a part of March Madness. Look, and I mean, people win the lottery.
Yeah.
You know, people also get hit by meteorites.
Yeah.
You know, 1 in a million kind of things happen. We saw it with Fairleigh Dickinson a couple of years ago. You know, a little bit before that, we saw it with Virginia going down. So we've seen the upsets. I mean, I thought there was a point. I don't know if you agree with this. I thought we would never see a 16 beat a 1.
Oh, yeah, I thought that ship had sailed.
Yeah, I thought we'd never see it.
And when it finally happened, we've talked about this a lot, it's not anything like I thought it would look.
No.
It was a blowout.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was going to be a buzzer beater.
Well, you thought it would be Princeton, Georgetown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the 215.
It was the 215.
I think the first one, right?
But they shot they didn't turn the basketball. I think it was like 3 turnovers. Didn't turn the basketball over. Shot like 60-something%.
I think that was the first ever
Slowed
215.
it down.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, that's how a 1 would lose to a 16, but that's never going to happen.
No.
No, I'm with you. I thought that's the way it would look, and that's not the way it looked. And really, even the Purdue loss to Fairleigh Dickinson, I don't remember that. I mean, I remember that Fairleigh Dickinson was kind of able to dribble out the clock, weren't they?
I mean, that was I think that was a 1-possession game.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a 3-point game.
Okay, I thought it was more like 5-8, but I could be wrong.
But I'm going to go on record and say we're not going to see a 16-over-1 again. It's not Dunaway saying it. It's me saying it.
You saying it?
It's Auburn fans last night at the Calcutta saying, where is Dunaway really on Auburn?
He's not picking them. That's where he really
I
is.
said I don't know whether or not he really believes Florida's the best team. I know he told us that.
Well, I think everybody believes that.
But I think even if he believed Auburn was the best team, I don't think he would go back on record this year. Do you agree with that?
It'd be tough. It'd be tough after what happened last year.
Because, you know, I don't know if he got any death threats. There were some Auburn fans that really turned on him. But I think if you were to jinx Auburn in back-to-back years,
that'd be tough.
With the talent they got, I think people would come after him.
Well, if he did, he's got to come back in here and have his back turned to that
Taylor.
room, to
That's
Taylor,
right.
yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I
there.
didn't think about that.
Urology Centers of Alabama. One more thing on this. Urology Centers of Alabama, though, wants to make sure your urological health is where it needs to be. And guys, when you get our age, it's just something you got to make sure you stay on top of. Find one of their great locations, 930-0920 or urologycentersalabama.com, urologycentersalabama.com. Some strange talk about kidney stones in the chat already today. They take care of that. They take care of all the things you.
I don't want to jinx the kidney stone.
Oh no! Why?
No, I'm just saying I haven't had one.
I haven't had one, but I hear they're terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, I heard it's like almost the. I don't want to degrade women and what they go through with pregnancy.
I think it's the male version of childbirth.
Yeah. I mean, look, we don't have the tolerance of pain.
That's right.
A lot of women do.
That's right.
But boy, I've heard it's to that level.
930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. That play that Alabama State ran to win, you don't see a whole lot. A lot of people are like,
I thought there was too much time on the clock.
A lot of people are like, is that basically the Hail Mary of basketball? Is you just throw it down there and hope something happens?
That was a Hail Mary.
Yeah, I mean, you just throw it down there in a group of people and just hope something happens.
Yeah, you
right?
can't tell me there was 4 guys, really, with a 5th coming over, that the percentages of you not only, that's a 50-50 ball at best.
At best.
And then with the time on the clock to be able to get a decent look, much less a look from 3 feet under the basket right off the glass.
Yeah, I mean, the vast majority of Hail Marys in football are just, I'm going to throw it up and hope for luck. I mean, you almost never even see a pass interference on that.
I don't think I've ever seen a pass interference on a Hail Mary.
I've seen one.
Boy, that's just a lot of balls to call that.
Yeah, but I tell you, it was an obvious. It was in the NFL, I think, Lance, and I want to say it was a Seahawks game.
No, it was Seahawks Monday Night Football against Green Bay.
Now, was that the
controversial where
you
had?
No. This is not what I'm talking about. Yeah, that was where you had a touchback and an incomplete. One ref is calling touchback.
Yeah.
One ref, but you remember the story behind that, though, right? That was the replacement refs.
No, the story behind it is Dunaway had the Packers.
That's true,
no,
yeah.
I'm not exaggerating.
No, I remember that.
Because I remember where I was.
We were all together watching it.
No,
I
don't think so, because at that point we were doing a Monday night show. And I was doing it at Cafe Forenza, the old Cafe Forenza. Mm-hmm. So I was doing a Monday night show there, and I don't know who I was doing it with. Maybe I was doing it with you. I don't remember. But I remember staying and watching that game and just laughing my ass off, because that was when we were in the heat of the best landmines of all time.
Yeah, I do remember that part. I'll tell you what happened in that behind the scenes in that game. I've got a friend that was NFL ref for a while, and if you remember, the refs were on strike. Those were replacement
They
refs.
were, yep.
And the union members from the NFL refs were in negotiations at the time with the league. And when that play happened, their phones start blowing up. They're texting all the union members saying, don't agree to anything, don't agree to anything.
Yeah, it was the best thing that happened to those guys.
No doubt. Those guys 100% were back at work the next day, and they knew it. And the NFL basically had to say, okay, we cannot do this thing with the replacement refs.
I love that.
Yeah, one guy's calling touchdown, one guy's calling touchback, and you're like, uh-oh, we got a problem here. And it couldn't have been like on the game only 2% of the country was getting. It was on Monday Night Football. The entire country was watching it. That was absolutely a basketball Hail Mary. Congrats to Alabama State. I mean, look, they're going to go take their beating, but they're going to be there for it. A lot of teams didn't make the tournament.
These guys will be able to tell their grandkids in 50 years.
That's right.
We'll be dead and gone in the year of 2075 if we're still spinning in the universe. They'll be able to say, hey, look, I was part of March Madness. We won a game.
At Rupp Arena. Man, I played in an historic Rupp Arena.
And don't you think it's one of those situations where when Alabama State loses to Auburn, they pull for Auburn the rest of the way?
Oh, yeah.
Like, we want to lose to the national champion.
That's right. If we're going to lose, let's say we lost to the best team in the tournament.
It adds to the story.
Yep, I agree completely. All right, more on the NCAA tournament when we come back. As we go to break here, Alabama Power is not just about powering homes, they're about powering communities. Since 2000, Renew Our Rivers, coordinated by Alabama Power, has grown into one of the nation's largest river cleanups. What started as a community cleanup along the Coosa has grown into a movement with more than 104,000 volunteers who together have removed more than 13.5 million pounds of trash from Alabama's waterways. Want to keep Alabama beautiful? Check out the 2025 cleanup schedule at alabamapower.com/renew our rivers.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them The Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now with code NEXTROUND and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
All right, we continue on the next round. Is this, and we'll answer this question a little bit later on, is this the most wide open tournament in modern history? Do you feel like, just first blush, I've got numbers to back this up, do you view this as a wide open tournament? More than normal, I guess I should ask.
Well, I am leaning.
I almost wore that same hoodie today.
Do you? And I've had it buried for a while because I think a lot of people up here have it.
Yeah, the blue one. It's a good looking hoodie. I almost wore it today.
Have you filled out your bracket? You're not changing.
I have filled it out. I can't swear I'm not changing.
Okay.
Would you want to say something?
Yeah, I'll say it, and you can follow it up for however you want. We've only had 1 year, I think it was 2008, where all #1 seeds were in the Final Four.
Yeah.
I think I might be going all #1 seeds.
Jay Billis did.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing it.
So does that say it's not wide open to you?
Well, I mean, it might be wide open. We might have carnage the first couple of weekends, but I think chalk is going to prevail.
Okay. I've got some Ken Palm stats coming up later on that make the argument this might be the most wide open tournament of all time, or at least in modern day. Ken Palm has only been around since 2002, so it's as far back as you could go with a Ken Palm argument. But I got some Ken Palm stats on that.
Is Ken Palm a real individual?
Ken Pomeroy is the guy's name. I've never met him. Couldn't pick him out of a police lineup.
Why doesn't he do interviews?
To my knowledge, he doesn't. I don't know. Maybe he's just not.
Is he
maybe
anonymous? Like he wants to just be hidden?
Well, it's interesting because a guy
Maybe
like
it's a
Joe
fake
Lenardi,
name.
I think, Ken Palm, all of the coaches buy into it.
Oh, gosh, yes. I mean, you talk to any coach, they talk about Ken Palm.
So with these metrics, I would think that he could be more visible, and he would be like the NCAA tournament go-to guy.
Ken Palm and Torvik are the two best. A guy named Bart Torvik are the two I hear the most about. I'm not going to say they're the best. I hear the most about. Like, for instance, Paul sent us this yesterday from Torvik. That guy's name is Paul Torvik. I don't know why analytics guys can't have more common names, but we've got Ken Palm and Torvik. And then there's the other one I don't even know how to say.
That's strong branding right there.
You guys like Good Will Hunting, right?
Yeah.
They're working on a sequel right now with Will Hunting, and he comes up with an algorithm that is used for sports.
NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Is it no, you're lying about this, right?
I am lying about that.
Is that Ken Palm? Is that who that is, Scott? Did Forrester find? I mean, Scott, did you?
Yes, this is Ken Pomeroy.
Okay, can I ask why the picture is so pristine, like Olin Mills?
He looks like he's at the Kentucky Derby. Is that not a horse and roses behind him?
It does look a little AI-ish. But
I was about to say, are we sure this isn't AI?
No, I see multiple pictures of him. It's the guy.
I think it's Chris Fowler's little brother, but
there is some Chris Fowler in there. It's Chris Fowler and somebody else. I can't figure out who the other else is. Maybe that's not a horse behind him. It is blurry across the room, but now that I look at it on my screen,
I don't know what that is, but I could see where you thought it might be a horse.
Yeah, but now that I see it on my screen in front of me.
Yeah, but I would think these guys make a lot of money, right?
Wait a minute. Is this true? Scott, do you have any facts on Ken Pomeroy? Because STR3 in the chat room says he's a meteorologist. That can't be accurate.
We would have done a deep dive on him in one of these bracket shows before.
I haven't really spent much time thinking about Ken Pomeroy. We talk about him an awful lot.
I'm surprised he does anything outside of this because these analytics are so important to all of these coaches, right? 320 plus. If he just disappeared and said, I'm not providing these anymore without X amount of dollars, people would pay it, right?
Oh, okay. Hey, here you go. Right. Pomeroy earned his undergrad degree at Virginia Tech and received a graduate degree in atmospheric science from Wyoming. After working as a meteorologist for the U.S. government, He quit that job to focus full-time on his website.
Interesting.
Well, one of the most interesting nerds in the world. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would agree. I've never seen the guy or heard the guy do an interview. I can't swear that he doesn't, but I've never seen or heard one.
You would think he'd start a podcast or a subscription service for his stats.
Well, maybe.
Well, no, he does have a subscription service.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
lot of his stuff that's behind the paywall, and I bet you if I had $1 to bet on this, I'd bet it that he has a paid service to coaches, and that's one reason he doesn't do interviews. I think he probably doesn't want opinion out there. Because I bet he makes good money off coaches.
That's probably true.
On
Because I was going to
advanced
say we could
analytics.
reach out and see if he wants to do a basketball show with us.
Yeah. I doubt we'd be the first ones to ask that. I mean, the guy, he gets talked about all the time. I mean, Bruce Pearl and Nate Oats on this show, and then Steven on his regular appearances, frequently reference Ken Pom.
Yeah, but if you told me that Ken Pomeroy is a recluse, I would believe it now.
Oh, I would believe it, yeah. But I think it's probably more that he just makes a lot of money off these schools, and if I do an interview, I could get trapped into saying something bad about a coach, and then that honeypot dries up, right?
Yeah.
So why do the interviews and risk that when I've got a good cash flow coming on advanced analytics for all these schools?
Yep.
That's probably the case with him. Whereas Lenardi's he's on ESPN's payroll, so.
You figured out Lenardi's hair yet?
I think it's toupee. The guy's been doing it a long time. There's never been any gray show up in that hair. That is dark black hair.
Yeah, but
That's
you
always
can
perfectly
dye
fixed.
it.
Yeah, but it's always just too perfect. You never see it, and it just doesn't look. Just doesn't look natural. Does that look natural to you?
Tony Barnhart always had really, really dark hair.
Yeah,
almost red, right?
Now wait a minute. Yeah, does that look real to you? Now,
I mean, that doesn't.
Go to the second or third one. That says Joe Lenardi is not wearing a toupee. They yank on his Miles Simon yanks on Joe Lenardi's hair to show that he's not wearing a toupee. What's that say, Tyler?
Why don't we just ask him next time he's on? Is that too much of a question to ask?
Well, apparently he's aware of it. So apparently Miles Simon is yanking on his hair to prove it is indeed attached to his head.
Yeah, but if you have it glued on hard enough, you could yank it. It's not going to come off, right?
Probably so.
I mean, that would be one of the things. If I had a toupee, I would want to make sure that would be the worst thing if it came off in a public setting.
Yeah. Now, Charles is right. Coach K's never looked natural, and that's not a toupee.
No, he
dyed it heavy.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Which, Nick Saban did too. It's smart on their part. They're recruiting. Well, I mean, I would dye hair too if I was recruiting. But Coach K's does not look natural. You're right. I like Coach K's right there with Guy Fieri's hair. That is. Could you imagine if Coach K had Guy Fieri's hair? That would be phenomenal.
That would be incredible.
We stumbled into something weird here, Tyler. I don't know what we got.
I stumbled across Coach K breaking down the brackets yesterday. Do you ever hear him on the radio?
I've never listened to his show on Sirius XM. Is it good?
It's okay.
So what did he
he's,
say?
He's obviously got so much credibility. I only heard one side of the region.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember which one he was talking about. I think it was actually the West.
Yeah.
And he thinks that Florida and St. John's are going to make major runs.
So he went with the 1 and 2 seeds.
Yeah. He does have Maryland as a sleeper.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I do think Maryland's a really good team.
Yeah, Maryland.
I wanted to grab them, too.
All right, we're going to talk about Louisville seating. First, let me tell you about our friends at Johnston RV. If you want to go see America, go see it in an RV from Johnston RV Center. Great prices right now as low as $129 a month with approved credits. You can get a toy hauler or the toy trailer, the tow behinds. You get the fifth wheel. You can get the motorhome. Whatever your budget allows for, they've got an option for you at Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. RV warranty forever. Make sure you're covered with a lifetime warranty on anything that is new and qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV Center, johnstonrvcenter.com. So a lot of people win the Associated Press poll, but as we talked about, why is the Associated Press doing a poll Monday? I've got the NCAA Tournament seedings. I don't really need an Associated Press poll anymore, but they do their final one, and Louisville was number 10. And a lot of people looked at that and says, how on earth is Louisville number 10?
Yeah, if you're 10, you've got to be a 3 seed at worst
of
4.
3, right? So Louisville is number 10, and it got more magnified because they showed up in Auburn's bracket there. They're in the 8-9 game with Creighton. But Louisville's a 10 seed. So a lot of people started saying, is this a criminally underseeded team? If the Associated Press is going to have them number 10, they're going to be in the 8-9 game, and they're playing less than an hour from campus in Rupp Arena. Well, it's not just people saying it, it's the coach that has to face them saying it. Here is the extremely large Creighton head coach Doug McDermott on Louisville.
I can't believe they're an 8 seed. I think it's the first time in the history of the NCAA tournament that the second-place team in the Big East that made it to the championship game and the second-place team in the ACC that made it to the championship game are playing in an 8-9 game. And on top of that, Louisville's ranked 10th in the country. So, they've earned that ranking. Whatever metrics the committee used to decide to put them as an 8 seed, I don't understand because when I watch them on film, they're a complete package.
All right, so is there any history to back up what Doug McDermott says? Now, I know he gave us the stat. It's kind of a weird stat. The two teams playing in the championship game from the ACC and the Big East being seated at this
I mean, how many
point.
times do you think Louisville has been a 1 seed in the history of the program?
1 seed?
Yeah.
I'd say Louisville's 5 times been a 1 seed.
I see it as 3.
3? I mean, I don't think it's happened an awful lot.
How many Final Fours do you think?
4?
10.
10 Final Fours for Louisville. Man, that's a lot. I did not know they'd been
the
in the Final Four that
seeding,
much.
they've only been a double-digit seed one time.
Yeah.
I mean, this 8, God, it's hard to believe they haven't been to a tournament since 2019. But before that, man, so they were 7 and 19, but 2, 4, 4, 1, 4, 4, 9, 1, 3, 6, 4.
Well, let's look at history because here's Kelly Dickey that covers the Louisville Cardinals, did the deep dive. Since seeding began in 1979, the number 10 ranked poll in the Associated Press, the last Associated Press poll, has been a 2 seed 10 times, a 3 seed 25 times, as you just said, so there's 35, a 4 seed 9 times, a 6 seed 1 time, and an 8 seed 1 time. This is the worst seeding for a number 10 Associated Press poll team in the history of seeding since 1979.
So let's explain this. Does it go back to Ken Palm? Does it go to the Torvik? Is it all about those numbers?
Well,
I mean, where does Louisville land when you're talking about pure metrics?
So your question would be, what you're asking, did the Associated Press get it wrong or did the committee get it wrong? Ken Palm has Louisville as the number 23 team in Ken Palm. That's in the neighborhood of an 8 seed. I mean, it's probably a little higher than you would imagine an 8 seed, but here's the neighborhood they're in.
I mean, that should really be no worse than a 6 seed.
Okay, but here's the neighborhood they're in Ken Palm, and see if this looks fairly consistent with what the selection committee did, okay?
Okay.
Illinois, they're a 6 seed.
6, yep.
All right, they're number 20.
And again, that's where I think Louisville should be,
Okay.
is on the 6 line.
Illinois is number 20 in Ken Palm. Kansas, a 7 seed, is number 21. St. Mary's, a 7 seed, is number 22. Louisville, an 8 seed, is number 23. And you're like, okay, well, that sounds right. Well, now wait. BYU, a 6 seed, is number 24. Michigan, a 5 seed, is number 25.
I think they're undefeated.
Ole Miss, a 6 seed, is number 26. But then you get back into the 7s at number 27 in Ken Palm, UCLA, Marquette. Baylor, a 9 seed, is 29. North Carolina was in the play-in game. They're 30th. VCU, an 11 seed, is 31. Oregon, a 5 seed, is 33. So, I mean, the question is the AP poll more off or is the selection committee more off? I think the AP poll is probably more off having them number 10.
Well, how about this? We'll know shortly, right?
You'll know on the court. Like, I brought this up to Scott. I gave Scott this tweet that he just pulled up on the screen. And Scott says, you know what all this means, right? I said, what do you mean? He said, Creighton's going to win this game.
Oh, I've already told you guys that.
I know. Scott's with you on that one, that Creighton's going to win this game. Because Creighton in this 8-9 game is the 36 team in Ken Palm. So there's a bit of a gap there, but you think Creighton's going to win this game.
I mean, it just seems like anytime people bitch and complain about where a team is actually shipped off to or the seeding, that team doesn't perform well.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you when there's so much focus on it.
I mean, last year,
plays out.
we put a lot of focus on, I cannot believe Auburn's got to go to Spokane.
And Auburn, it seemed like there was I don't know, I can't speak for the coaching staff. Like, I know Steven's on with us every week. I'd have to go back and look at his interview the week they went to Spokane to see if there was belly aching about that by him. I don't remember it offhand, but I know there was a lot by the fans. And it seemed that Reese Davis brought this up a couple of weeks ago on the show. That's how you end up getting upset by Yale if you start thinking about stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying Auburn's coaches or players did, but they got shipped out to Spokane and didn't make it out of Spokane.
Yeah, there's got to be a way you can flip it. Like, location's one thing. I guess seating's another thing. But, again, whatever Hubert Davis did to bottle this energy in North Carolina and sell them on the fact that everyone out there is pulling against you, everyone out there doesn't believe you deserve to make this NCAA tournament, there's a other side to the coin where you can actually use this as motivation.
Yeah. By the way, while we're talking about that, because the other thing that people look at with Louisville, Lance, is not only are they perhaps underseeded, they are playing an hour from campus. I don't know how far Louisville and Lexington are apart. I view it as an hour.
Penn State, close enough.
It's close enough. They're playing an hour from their campus. So if they do beat Creighton, what is that going to look like? Well, we might get a hint from that. The Trey Wallace of Outkick, our friend with Outkick, sent this out earlier today. It's secondary market ticket prices for the 2 sessions that are coming up tomorrow. Now, keep in mind, when everybody plays on Saturday, it's only 1 session. So the 1 ticket is going to get you potentially Tennessee, Louisville, and Auburn. That's going to be a crazy ticket at Rupp Arena, right?
I would agree.
Well, here's a little hint of how that's going to go right now. The Tennessee session, which Auburn and Louisville are not in, $5-6 a ticket, $6 a ticket to get in Rupp. That's the first session. That's Louisville. Or excuse me, the second session. That's Tennessee, Wofford, UCLA, Utah State. $6 gets you in there.
So, I mean, we know that Utah, I would think Wofford probably has more fans than Utah State or UCLA.
Probably so. Tennessee is going to be the vast majority of fans.
Yeah, but I would think
session.
that Tennessee would maybe have enough. But again, you got to go back to pick your poison. You know, you were in Nashville all weekend for the SEC tournament.
Yep.
You got to figure that Tennessee is going to survive and advance this weekend. Where are you going to spend your money?
$6 is your get in there. The early session, that's Louisville, Creighton, Auburn, Alabama State, $50 get in. Significant difference. So wait until Saturday when you dump the Tennessee fans in there too. That's going to be one heck of an expensive ticket.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, especially if it's Auburn, Louisville, and Tennessee.
Yeah, I think, with the way they've got this pod system set up now, I do believe these ticket prices will continue to rise.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there are so many different sports that are fighting to get fans back in the stadiums, but I think the arenas are going to be filled up a lot of times, and I think it's going to be historic ticket pricing, and maybe with this tournament right here. Like the Auburn-Atlanta ticket, talking to some Auburn fans last night,
That's
like
gonna be a
everybody's
crazy
speculating
ticket.
like the get-in best case is $500.
Yeah, it's a drivable game for Auburn fans. I mean, it's just as easy for a lot of Auburn fans to get to State Farm Arena as it is Neville Arena.
Yeah, and you really don't even, depending on where you're coming from, it would be a pain in the ass to drive there, drive back 2 days later, drive back.
That, yeah.
But you can do it.
Yeah. I've done that in Atlanta probably. Before one more thing on that, and then we'll also get to the viewing menu. But I do want to remind you, it is printing season because we've got the brackets out. ImageCraft is there to help you print more and spend less. They specialize in low-cost printer and copier supplies. They are family-owned for 40 years, so they know what they're doing. All the major brands, HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, Xerox, they help you save too. Free same-day delivery on all in-stock items. The Birmingham Metro, free shipping outside the Birmingham Metro. They are in Trustville on Gadsden Highway, just down for the Pinnacle Shopping Center. Swing by in-store, mention Next Round and get 10% off your supplies there, or just shop online with code TNR10 at imagecraft.net. TNR10 gets you 10% off online at imagecraft.net. Print more, spend less with ImageCraft. If you've done this, you've been to an NCAA tournament. One of the coolest things in a tournament, unless it's your team getting upset, is when an upset starts to happen and all the other fans get behind it.
I'll never forget being at the BJCC. We've had a lot of tournaments come through here, a lot of early rounds.
Yeah, and we've seen some upsets too.
But I remember Austin P pulling off the upset, and everybody was going, "Let's go P, let's go P."
Yeah.
I think Western Kentucky pulled off an upset here. I think New Orleans did. Trying to think. Providence pulled off a massive one over Kansas.
Oddly, North Carolina pulled off an upset here when they beat the 1 seed Stanford Cardinal.
Yep.
Yeah, it's odd that North Carolina was in that situation, but they were
I'm
in the
telling you,
8-9 game.
one of the best regular season teams I've ever seen. Watching all these years of college basketball was 1997 in Kansas, the year that Arizona, Miles Simon, and Mike Bibby actually won a national
all started
championship.
right here in Birmingham.
Yeah, but that Kansas team to not make it to the Final Four was crazy.
Yeah, so if you're ever in one of those arenas and the upset starts happening, everybody gets behind it. Do you think, we're talking about Louisville and Auburn playing, if Louisville does beat Creighton, the Tennessee fans in there, if Louisville starts to pull the upset, even though Auburn's not even in their bracket, they'll get behind Louisville, won't they?
I would think. And by the way,
it becomes a tough environment at that point.
Do you know the last time Louisville made it out of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament?
I mean, I guess it goes back to Rick Pitino.
2015.
Yeah. Is that Pitino?
Yeah, when they got to an Elite Eight. Yeah.
Yeah, Louisville's been a program that's been in the wilderness for a
Boy,
while.
that is hard to believe.
Yeah, Pat Kelsey did.
I think it's turning quick.
Pat Kelsey did a nice job this year, there's no doubt. All right, Michelson brings you the viewing menu. Tyler's about to tell us what to watch tonight, courtesy of Michelson Laser Vision.
205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. Ask for Amy Toa. The Next Round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, true pioneer, the first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. I had the 2200 vision, legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, 2015 vision better than 2020. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
So tonight at 7 p.m. on the Sci-Fi Channel, you got one of my favorite movies of all time, Kill Bill Volume 1 from Quentin Tarantino.
So good. Yep.
I know, Brown, you probably hate that movie if you've
Not a big
seen
Tarantino
it
guy, yeah, but we used to talk about it a lot on the show back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see Tarantino as your style.
No, it's not my style. Never been a big Tarantino guy, but it used to be in the viewing menu an awful lot. Kill Bill.
Kill Bill was there all the
That's
time.
right.
So the Tarantinos, you've seen Pulp Fiction, you hated it.
Did not like Pulp
Reservoir
Fiction.
Dogs, you thought was overrated.
Yeah, I was ready for that to be over.
What other you've seen Inglourious
I like
Bastards?
Inglourious Bastards. That's one I like. That appeals more, though, to my affinity for World War II and the European theater.
I don't know how historically accurate that was.
Not very, but
Yeah.
it's got enough in there that it hooked me in.
Did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Not historically accurate at all.
but that's a long movie, isn't it?
Would have loved for it to play out like that.
Yeah.
It's
Jackie Brown's really good.
Jackie Brown is really good.
Haven't seen that, no.
Now, so that was based on Rum Punch. Leonard Elmore, who's a great novelist, by the way, although I don't read, but he is.
I've been told.
Yeah, books on tape. I did listen to Rum Punch. I thought Rum Punch was better than Jackie Brown, but Jackie Brown was really good. My favorite probably is, though, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That one's great.
Yeah.
I also think that cast will just age wonderfully because you've got the top stars, Brad Pitt, Leo.
Well, Leo's
Margot.
not. He is not aged. Ask the women out there. Leo is aged roughly.
Yeah, well,
but Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie, yes, I will give you that.
Career-wise, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And then you look at some of the young talent he cast in that movie.
Margaret
like
Qualley.
Margaret Qualley, Mikey Madison was in it.
She got her
Austin
head
Butler,
bashed in, didn't she?
She did. Austin Butler played Tex. He got attacked by the pit bull. So, I mean, just a lot of people that are coming up big now.
So when Brad Pitt, when he made the dude change his tire, that wasn't Tex, was it? No, it wasn't Tex.
I don't think so. I think
I forgot who
somebody
that kid
else.
was. But that was a great cast from Tarantino.
Really was. At 9 p.m. on Showtime, and it's also streaming on Paramount Plus. You got a movie starring Jesse Eisenberg that last year I actually had to travel to Tuscaloosa to go see. It's called Sasquatch Sunset.
I cannot believe you would drive a 2-hour round trip to see something called Sasquatch Sunset.
I'm dedicated to building up the meltdown.
Yeah,
What
I
can
think
say?
Eisenberg, back to The Social Network, wrote and directed A Real Pain. I thought he did a really good job with that script. But he's a good actor.
Yes, he is. That movie was fantastic. But Sasquatch Sunset, very weird. It's 4 Sasquatches going through the wilderness, just trying to survive.
Are they people aware?
No, I don't think you see any people throughout the whole movie.
Would your old neighbors have liked them?
What's that?
Your old neighbors, would they have liked them?
Oh, they would have been real excited. And then also tonight, 7 p.m. at the AMC Theaters, A24 has been doing a re-release of all their different movies in IMAX, and tonight is Harmony Korine's Spring Breakers, starring Selena Gomez, Vanessa Hudgens, and James Franco.
I heard that was a polarizing movie. Never saw it. I'm sure Dunaway's seen it because it's about spring break, but did you watch it?
I did. It's definitely a polarizing movie. It's not so much about the story as much as just like watching these characters do wild things for the entire duration of the movie.
i.e. spring break.
Tyler, thank you. That is the Michelson viewing menu. A reminder, the Shannara Showdown live. What game we got today? Is it the Texas Xavier game?
Yeah, Texas Xavier will be your game up. Hopefully you were on the right side last night. I wasn't. I actually had San Diego State. On the right side tonight, though. So if you were unlike me, hopefully you got a ball in our bucket and the opportunity to win a $1,500 or $250 gift card gift credit card, I should say, just like cash, from our friends at Alexander Shinar.
NextRoundLive.com to play that. And don't forget the bracket contest. We're giving away a TV and a bunch of store credit as well. The MyBookie.ag bracket contest. You can find that right there at Next Round Live in the contest section as well. NextRoundLive.com for both of those as you try to win some money and some prizes during the tournament. Ron Slade talks tournament with us next.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of our lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now, code NEXTROUND, and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of our lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we start another hour of the next round presented by Bud Light. We're about to go to the Shannara Hotline and talk with the great Ron Slay from the SEC Network and ESPN. A reminder, Dunaway is on his way to Cleveland. Taylor on her way to Lexington. Dunaway will be following the Alabama Crimson Tide in the NCAA Tournament. Taylor with the Auburn Tigers. So make sure you are at Next Round Live on all social media to see that, and we'll have more in the show here. He is Lance Taylor. I'm Ryan Brown. Let's see. Tyler is here. Scott is here. Melton will be here soon. EG hanging around. So we got a lot going on today with the NCAA tournament kicking off tomorrow officially. Let's go to Ron Slay. The Tennessee great, the Tennessee State Hall of Famer, State of Tennessee Hall of Famer, and now the SEC Network and ESPN. What's up, Slay? How are you, my man?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
Doing great. You doing all right?
I'm good, man. Let the madness begin, baby.
Absolutely. We were talking about the fact that the entire world thinks, even if you don't pick them, I think almost everybody thinks Florida is the best team in the country right now. You've watched them all year. Why are they the best team in the country? Other than, I mean, health is one thing, obviously. I get that.
Yes.
But what has happened that makes them the best team in the country right now?
Man, I think one, first of all, is warranted, the run that they've been on and the style that they've been beating people. Also, man, Walter Clayton Jr., he spearheads it. This guy, if he had been playing like this in December, he'd be in the recognition for National Player of the Year. The pace, the style, the patience he's played with, being able to get guys in places that they need to be when they need a shot to stop a run, he's right there. And also, I think, man, the emergence of, we knew who Elijah Martin was coming in, but I'm not sure if we knew him and Will Richard would be able to coexist the way they are, and be able to take turns and play the way they are. There's enough shots to go around, because we kind of watched this last year with Florida when they had Riley Kugel and Will Richard, and it didn't kind of mesh. You know, one was off, one was on, one was trying to fill a void. If one wasn't hitting, the other one would be trying to shoot. They'd try to beat slashers. It was a weird dynamic between those two. But Elijah Martin and Will Richard, the way they play with Walter Clayton Jr. is, man, it's fun to watch on both ends of the floor. And I think Elijah's brought that mentality, that physicality that they may have been lacking just a little bit. No knock to their bigs or anything, but Elijah brings a toughness that I don't think Florida's had in the last 2 years. So you got that point, and then the depth that they got in the bigs, man. Like, nobody in the country has 4 bigs rotating and is as impactful as they are. You know, you look at Chinaloo and Hanlogden, that's 2 7-footers trading out for each other. Alex Condon and Thomas Houck, they are trading out for each other as well. And these guys can play together. He can put them on the court at the same time. And I think also, man, is when you get into the guards like Walter Clayton and you try to pressure those guys and try to disturb the offense and try to make them run it further out, you got bigs that can step up and be pressure release valves and be able to still continue to run their offense. Backdoor cuts, pick and roll, handoffs, be able to shoot the three to stretch the floor to keep you honest. Also being able to do the high-low pass, which is a lost craft. That high-low pass is excellent the way they work it. So, then Todd Golden, like I keep saying, man, he's Willy Wonka. He's Charlie from the Charlie Factory. He got the golden ticket, and who doesn't want to have the golden ticket? He got it with this group.
Florida's latest victim, Tennessee, gets the 2 seed, Elite 8 last year. Dalton Knecht was that closer. 2 parts here. If Tennessee is going to make a deep run, who is the guy outside of Zakai Ziegler that needs to really step it up? And the other part, and we asked a Tennessee guy this yesterday, do you get a feeling this might be Rick Barnes' last go at Tennessee this tournament?
First part, I think it got to be Chaz Lanier, either Chaz Lanier or Igor Milicic. When those guys play well, it's a stretch to try to beat Tennessee because they're doing so many things as far as keeping the floor space. Igor is a guy that you know what he's going to bring energy-wise, but being able to rebound and defend and stretch the floor and shoot the three, put the ball on the floor, get to the basket. Chaz Lanier making all of that attention go on him where it creates openings for the bigs. Those are the guys, but it also gives them a 3-headed monster in the way that I call him lethal weapon. Jordan Gainey is playing. Like this guy coming off the bench, man, is so comfortable in this role, and getting to his spot, not rushing this year. He looks really well. Looks really good. So that would be my. It's probably three guys. You asked for one, but it's probably three right there. Chaz, Igor, and Gainey continuing to be himself. And as far as Coach Barnes go, I don't know, man. That's tough. I would have thought that Izzo would have exited 3 or 4 years ago. I would have thought that Coach Patino would have exited a couple of years ago after leaving Iona, and then settling on into St. John's. Looks like he's ready to make another run. So I can't tell with Coach Barnes. I do know losing a nucleus like Meshack and Gainey and Zakai Ziegler, like you grow attached to those guys, and it's hard to find somebody else like them that's been in this program and he's been able to lean on and be an extension of you. So it's a possibility. I think you would definitely have to see a Final Four run for him to walk away, I think, in my opinion. But who knows, man? Who knows? But I do know he has a strong connection with the staff, strong connection with Cade Phillips, kind of that's growing into kind of something like it was with Fulke. JP Estrella is a guy that he wants to see get back and be able to, get on the floor and have an impact. So depends what they do in recruiting too. It's hard to walk away when you can collect some talent.
Ron Slay is with us, the Ron Slay on social media. You see him on the SEC Network and ESPN. Let's talk about the overall number 1 seed, the Auburn Tigers. It is weird the feeling that some people have about Auburn, and they're still the overall number 1 seed. They did not play their best basketball down the stretch. Bruce Pearl even talked about maybe reevaluating some of the ways they move the ball on offense. That's not what you want to hear going into the tournament. I get it, but this team is far from broken too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think this team is just fine. People ask 1 to 10, where are you on the panic or worry meter? It's a 1, and I'm just forcing myself to be a 1 because it's one team I said all year that can click a switch, and that's Auburn. Auburn is able to click a switch, and it's because of their experience. It's because of their core group. There's a responsibility and accountability that they have for each other. And to me, it's not about the age. Yeah, we always talk about that. That's a good little low-hanging fruit joke to make about them. But the experience of all the games they played, that's what's most impressive. That's what makes you experienced and, ready for the moment. I thought if it was something to tear their team apart, the emergency landing when they were on the way to Houston, that showed me everything I needed to know. I thought they were ready to fall apart. I knew if I was betting, man, I knew Houston was going to blast them the next day. Playing in Houston,
yep,
and they get there late, and the way they went down there and played and then went on a run. Oh no, this team is equipped and ready for any moment. The only thing that would scare me is anything self-inflicted. Whether that be somebody rolling the ankle or you have somebody lose their temper, lose their head. Baker Mazar do some wild, to cost them a couple of plays, or where he has to sit out, or anybody on the team has to sit out. But me personally, I think getting ready to go into this tournament, they got enough respect for one another where they can self-check themselves. And that's something I don't think Coach Pearl really has to worry about, them being motivated. All he got to worry about is how do we get these teams to start double teaming Janai again, so we can get him passing the way he's supposed to, getting them 5 or 6 assists, getting those easy threes.
Okay, Slay, outside of the Big Four in the SEC, your 2-1s, Florida and Auburn, your 2-2s, Tennessee and Alabama. This is kind of the million-dollar question, and it's been answered 4 or 5 different times over the last couple of months. Who would be that 5th team that can make a deep run, possibly even to San Antonio out of the SEC?
Man, honestly, I got it as this is gonna sound crazy, but A&M or Texas. I got A&M and Texas. If Texas can handle business tonight against Xavier, I believe that they got some matchups where they can at least get to a Sweet 16. And then when you look at A&M, I think A&M, and if they play whole, and if Wade Taylor gets some help from guys like Zurich Phelps and Jace Carter and Hefner, I'm not worried about the bigs. I know what the bigs are going to bring. We all know how they're going to hit the boards and defensively what they'll do. But I think Buzz will have those guys locked in And Wade Taylor is a guy that thrives in the moment. So if it ever came down to a moment, you got to remember the way they took Houston to the brink. This was a team that can get it done. So Texas A&M and Texas would be my two teams to lean on.
Let's talk about Alabama. Lance mentioned them, Slay, as they go into this tournament. The feeling for Alabama going into this tournament could not be any different than it was last year. And last year, they go to the Final Four. You go in this year, I know the Florida game looked bad, but the 2 games before that, they run Kentucky out of Bridgestone, and they beat Auburn at Neville Arena. If those are the only 2 you saw, you would feel great about Alabama right now.
Mm-hmm. See, one thing I've been able to trick myself into doing and kind of, tame myself is to understand that don't take what you see in the SEC and apply it to the rest of the nation. Seeing a team go on a losing streak like A&M did, or seeing a team like Auburn go on a losing streak, don't get that jaded and think that this is how the rest of the nation is going to operate against these teams. Alabama being one of those teams. I think Alabama, you just talked about it. The core that they brought back was for this purpose. Along with Auburn, they are supposed to be going with vengeance, going through this tournament and trying to get all the way back to the Final Four. And that's why you bring a core group back like they did. You take out Right Sale, you infuse a guy like Chris Youngblood, Aiden Holloway, who's been playing well, Phylon, who I don't expect to play like he did in that last game in the tournament, but you expect him to play like he did against Kentucky. This is a guy that put it on his shoulders. Stevenson coming back, Reed coming back, Stevenson right there, Diabate, and the key factor for me outside of this first game is Grant Nelson. To me, in that region, in that East region, he has the same impact on Alabama as Cooper Flagg has on Duke. Duke can get by with talent and the style that they play. Alabama can get by, but when you need that X factor, not saying that he's up there as far as potential with the NBA #1 pick and things like that when you talk about Cooper Flagg, but as far as impact, what he brings to that team, timely scoring, allowing people to play in their position, being able to defend multiple positions, keeping him on the floor where he can play 30 to 32 minutes a night where everybody else can relax and be them. That's what he brings to Alabama. You got to have a Grant Nelson. And that run last year doesn't happen without Grant Nelson. Any runs they go on this year, regardless of him scoring, doesn't happen without Grant Nelson being on the floor. So you need him healthy as possible to walk through this tournament. And I think when you get him, Alabama's going to be Alabama.
Year 1 under Mark Pope, up and down for Kentucky. They get a 3 seed. When you look at this draw, they've got some difficult games. Do you think they make it out of the first weekend and we see that Kentucky-Tennessee rematch?
Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. According to my bracket, they get beat by Texas. But, I've been known to be wrong in that second round. So, but I do. And I think one thing about it, man.
Hey, Texas is an underdog tonight to Xavier, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely they are. But the one thing that they got that Xavier don't got is a kid named Trey Johnson who will go for 40 at any given moment, and a closer in Tremont Mark. So Kendall Weaver being back with their bunch is a big please. But when you look at Kentucky, I think, man, Mark Pope's playing with a voucher. Like walking in, they got him to come to Vegas. They got him in the casino. They put him up nice and neat, and he's going to go down there with a voucher the first night, have a good time. If he loses, he's going home. Everything will be fine. The pressure and everything will be released. But next year is what's the year for Mark Pope to be able to, get that Elite 8, Sweet 16 run for Kentucky. But this year, man, he playing with house money. To me, you're one in.
Oh, man, we lost Slay. That's unfortunate. I don't know what happened.
The boom room, man.
Boom
we lost
room
connection.
fell apart. I don't know what did the Zoom in? Did we do that? Was that one of those?
Yeah,
deals?
it looks like he had a bad connection and just dropped off. I can send him another invite if we
in fact, we were about to wrap with him.
In fact, we tell him.
It is interesting that he has, and Trey Johnson is one of these guys that could pull an R.J. Davis and go for 26 like he did last night. But it is interesting. Xavier is favored tonight, and Slay's not only got him winning tonight,
he likes them.
He's got them beating Illinois, and then he's got them beating Kentucky. His bracket's going to be jacked. I guess you do get the pass. Like if he's got Texas winning, he can just quickly pivot it to Xavier, right? Because you get that pass. On
yeah,
the bracket.
nobody is scoring those play-in games in the bracket, right?
Well, you get the combination. I mean, at least that's the way we sell in the Calcutta.
Yeah.
I mean,
you get whoever wins that game. Is what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's the way I would play it if I were him. Thank you to Ron Slade for joining us on the Shannara Hotline. We greatly appreciated the Alexander Shannara trial attorney hotline. Slade with us. He said it would be happening when I'm talking about Kentucky. Slade said. The old Tennessee guy talking about Kentucky. Well, I want to ask you this question from what you just heard from Slay and Clay Travis yesterday. But first, I want to remind you, lunch is coming up. Order Bojangles Bo Bites. It's the easiest choice you are going to make today. Whatever you do, don't call them nuggets. It's not what they are. They're bite-sized hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection, perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. But they're Bo Bites. The only hard part is choosing the sauces. They've got 6. Everything from the creamy house-made ranch to the sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. Just depends on the mood you're in. Head to the nearest Bojangles today. Discover the dippable, shareable, craveable Bo Bites. It's Bo time at Bojangles. So you've asked Clay now.
Yep.
You've asked Slay now. Neither of them completely closed the door on Rick Barnes retiring. Where are you on the seesaw?
I would say that it is 60-40 he retires. I do agree with Slay if he has one of these Final Four runs. And I don't even think it takes a national championship. There are people that believe this team can win a national championship. I just don't think Chaz Lanier is even a fraction of what Connect was offensively last year. I think Lanier is good. This Tennessee's team is still one of the best defensive teams in all of college basketball. But if he went on a really deep run, I could see him shut it down. I'm 1,000% if they won the national championship.
Yeah, if he lifts the trophy, it does seem like the perfect time to do it. Yeah.
But I still go 50-50. And boy, that is a good job.
Oh, yeah. He's made it so much of a better job.
You know, Bruce Pearl had a really good job, too.
Yeah.
I mean, those Tennessee fans are obviously passionate. I mean, you know, we were talking to a Tennessee fan Friday night, and she was telling us, you know, they go to all the baseball games.
Well, I mean, they're one of the premier baseball programs in the country now.
What is their record right now? They're undefeated.
Well, they lost last night, actually, I think, to East Tennessee State.
Okay, well, there you go.
I think I saw that this morning.
Can't go undefeated in baseball. The one sport that it's impossible.
We'll ask Lance, do you feel the same if Bruce wins the trophy? If he lifts the trophy, could you see him retire?
Yep.
Bruce Pearl.
Yeah, I would go Bruce on a seesaw. 85% he retires if he wins the trophy.
If he wins?
If he wins the national championship.
1,000% on Rick Barnes, 85% on Bruce Pearl.
Big difference, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, how do you feel on Bruce Pearl winning the national championship?
Either one of them won the national championship, I could see them walking away.
Well, and I think for Bruce, because I think Bruce really, really wants to hand the baton immediately to Steven. And I don't think there's any argument from anyone. If you were to win the national championship, shut it down after what you've done for this program, you have got one of the hot assistants, your own son on staff, that can easily transition to this job. I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer.
I mean, if I'm Auburn, even if he did not have his son on the staff, if Bruce Pearl, if I'm Auburn, I'm probably already there with Bruce Pearl, but certainly if he lifts the trophy, even if his son weren't on the staff, I would go to Bruce Pearl and say, you tell me who the replacement needs to be. You have just taken Auburn from the worst basketball program in this conference to the national championship. I'm letting you pick your successor.
I still think there's sometimes the greatest coach at that particular school. Like, let's go Nick Saban. Like, Nick Saban, are his fingerprints really on Kalen DeBoer? Like, if Greg Byrne leaned to him, I think he would give his advice, but I don't think he wants to be the guy that is, this is where you need to go. Like, I'll take your advice. For Bruce, a little bit different with his son.
Yeah, there's a different feel. I don't know, like, if Greg Byrne went to Saban and said, you can pick your replacement, I really don't even know who Saban would have picked. There wasn't an obvious one.
Yeah, you know, and this just feels so different. And again, we're really jumping the gun here because we don't know what's going to happen with Bruce Pearl.
Tournament hasn't even tipped yet.
But when Bobby Knight finally retired and Pat Knight took over at Texas Tech, it just, boy, that seemed forced.
It did, and
nepotism at its best there, right?
It was, but it was the deal Texas Tech had made to get Bobby Knight. You know, I mean, you would ask yourself, was it worth it to have Bobby Knight? What was Texas Tech basketball before Bobby Knight? Now, Chris Beard took them to a level Bobby Knight never even dreamed of.
Yeah, and you look at Texas Tech right now, there's a lot of people believe as a 3 seed out of the West, they can make a deep run in this tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas Tech basketball is much better than the Indiana basketball right now.
Absolutely, it is. They've been to a national championship game more recently. They're in this tournament. Indiana's not. Indiana's hiring a new coach.
I think we will see some surprise moves after this tournament with some big-time jobs.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's going to be the domino effect.
So you don't think the carousel's over?
Nope, I do not.
Yeah.
And
Indiana.
All it takes is an Indiana.
Yeah.
Again, it seems like if there is the decision from Bruce Pearl that there's not going to be a domino there because immediately you think that Stephen would I would be shocked if Stephen doesn't get that job.
But it would be fascinating to see what kind of name that job would draw on the open market. Historically, it has drawn awful names. Jeff Lebo and Tony Barbie.
Well, it's a better
like
job
that.
than Ole Miss, and Ole Miss got Chris Beard. Now,
That's
Chris
right.
Beard came with, he was
there's a reason they got Chris Beard.
the bruised fruit,
Yeah.
but it still worked out, right? I mean,
Yes.
but Bruce Pearl was that guy when he came to Auburn.
There's a reason Bruce Pearl took the Auburn job. He would have never had the Auburn job if he hadn't have stumbled at Tennessee the way he did. And ended up being our basketball analyst for 3 years on our show. As he said, I was getting rich doing that. I had to dial it back and go coach Auburn.
Well, we were probably, we should be given all the credit for him getting that job.
I would
right?
think so. I would think we should get all the credit and a potential of the earnings. All right, before we tell you what Alabama, or Nate Oats tells you what Alabama learned from the Florida game, let's talk about the Golfus. It is a fun, social, hang out with the buddies type place. It's affordable, so it's an easy place to go hang out with the buddies and not break the bank. And you bring everything, your own food, your own beverage, your own alcohol. It is Birmingham's only multi-location golf simulator and man cave right there in Vestavia, Trussville, and Highway 280. It's also a great place to get out of the office and have that boring office meeting somewhere that's not so boring. You can do it at The Golfus. You can book a bay online, thegolfus.com, thegolfus.com for more information and to book that bay. And you can just see everything they've got going on at the Golfus, where it's always dry, always 70 degrees, and always fun at the Golfus. Games are on, by the way. They got the games on in the bay there, so you can watch the tournament while you play. Thegolfus.com. That is thegolfus.com. All right, we just mentioned it with Slay. If Alabama had not played Florida, I can't imagine what people would be saying about this Alabama team coming into the tournament. Their last two games would have been a road win at Auburn and running Kentucky off the court. If that's all you saw, you'd be like, boy, this team may have peaked at the right time. And they had a bad half against Florida, and now a lot of people are talking different. I'm not, but a lot of people are talking different about Alabama. Here was the stat I was going to bring up to you earlier from Paul, one of our members of our audience that is a huge basketball guy. And he's always sending us, and I hope he knows we appreciate it because I don't go look at this stuff all the time, but he's always sending us like these advanced stats, and this is from Torvik. And he says, the reason I love Alabama is this. Since the Missouri game, which was a bad night for Alabama basketball, their defense is 18th in the nation, and it includes both Florida games, which got out of whack for them. I think Florida hit 100 on them in Tuscaloosa and 90-something on them in
that is hard to believe if you include
is.
those losses.
Yeah. So, yeah, Alabama is 18th in defense. 8th in offense, 18th in defense on Torvik in those games. That's a 8-game sample for Duke and Houston in Florida, 7-game sample for Alabama, 7-game sample for Auburn. In that same time, Auburn is 43rd defensively, something we've discussed. Florida is 42nd defensively. Duke is 12th, but Alabama's 18th.
Well, we haven't fact-checked it. I'll believe it.
No, I see it. It's from Torvik.
Okay.
I'm looking at it.
Well, with
from
all
Torvik,
that said,
yeah.
Alabama's defense is still allowed 85-plus in 12 games.
They have. Now, some of that is pace.
I do think there's going to be
tempo.
one of two ways that Alabama's going to lose. I think they're going to give up 100-plus in one of these games, or they're going to shoot their way out of a game. Back to our little snake draft, I got the worst position at number 5.
Because
it was just a random
you
draft.
Get no 4 seeds whatsoever. No 1 seeds whatsoever.
Well, so it went Florida, Auburn, Duke, Houston, and then I've got the dilemma, and I don't know where you would have gone. It was, do you go Alabama, do you go Tennessee?
How quick does it get back? How many people are there? 8?
8.
So it's going to get back to me with only 3 seeds at that point, right? So I'm getting a 2 and a 3.
Yeah, my draft is awful, by the way. And,
yeah,
and I'm going to blame it on positioning.
Yeah.
If I'd have gotten 1 through 4, I think I win this thing. But now
I like
at 5,
Alabama's
I'm out of the money.
bracket better than I do Tennessee's.
That's what it came down to
Yeah.
was bracket for me.
Yeah.
So I did play Alabama. I don't feel great about it. I am pulling for Vanderbilt in that first round against St. Mary's, although I think St. Mary's wins that game.
Yeah. But see, I like Alabama's matchup against either one of those two teams.
I mean, they should win that game, but I still think St. Mary's is going to be a more difficult match.
And then when I look in that little pod right there, This is not your dad's Wisconsin team. They don't play that slow it down four corner style anymore. They actually play a little bit more.
Greg Gard, I mean, this is, I think, his highest tempo team he's had.
That's right. So now you're trying to match tempo with Alabama, which very few teams can do.
A lot less athletic, too.
That's right. And then you get maybe BYU, which is trying to do the same thing. And we've just seen BYU light, or actually BYU is Kentucky light. And we've just seen what Alabama 3 times has done to Kentucky, Mark Pope's scheme. So that's kind of, I like Alabama's draw right there.
And again, we don't know Cooper Flagg 100% where he is. Yeah. I think he's going to be close to 100% once he actually gets on the court. Again, if I'm Duke, he doesn't play this game against American or Mount St. Mary's. John Shire's probably going to approach it a little bit differently and give him some minutes. But I think Alabama is a Duke upset away from getting to a Final Four.
Yeah, because even if Duke gets popped in that part of the region, who in that region scares you against Alabama?
Well, I mean, look, I've got a feeling that Oregon's about to make a run. I think I'm in the minority here, but I think Oregon's about to make a run. So I think Oregon could be that team. But the benefit for Alabama is you've seen Oregon.
Yeah.
And Alabama played a bad game against Oregon in that loss earlier this year. So I think Oregon's a team Alabama would actually like to see.
I don't think they would hate seeing Oregon.
Yeah, I think really the one team you don't want to see if you're Alabama is Duke.
Yeah, and that's who you may see, but I mean – but then it comes down to one shot to the Final Four right there. I like Alabama's draw, so you, I think, made the right call there.
Time will tell, right?
We'll find out. There's only one way to know. I don't love Tennessee's draw, where Tennessee is looking at having to play Kentucky and Houston in back-to-back games.
Kentucky or Illinois. I mean, I think either one of those teams is going to be really difficult. And again, I think we're sleeping on Clemson a little bit. Yeah. I would not be surprised if Clemson knocks off Houston in the Sweet 16.
From Hey Coach, Crimson Tide Sports Network, here is our buddy Chris Stewart talking with Alabama coach Nate Oats about what the Tide learned from that loss we were talking about against the Florida Gators.
You know, I think things would have been a lot different if Grant had been healthy the whole game. It hurt not having him in. But we got to do better. We've got to compete a little harder when things aren't going our way, when some adversity hits. You know, I hope we take that lesson, take it into the NCAA tournament, because, last year things weren't going great in the second game of the tournament against Grand Canyon, and we had to right the ship. Mo Diabate came in, got us playing well. We ended up winning that game and then going on and going to a Final Four. So, and things weren't perfect against Carolina or Clemson either. So, you know, things aren't going to go perfect for you all the time. We got to handle adversity a little bit better. We got to play with some toughness even when things aren't going our way. And just keep fighting, scrapping, clawing, staying in the game.
I'm not, and I wasn't saying this yesterday about Grant Nelson. I mentioned Richard Hendricks texted me about it. And Richard wasn't saying that Alabama was going to beat Florida. Alabama was not going to beat Florida. Florida was the best team in Nashville, and I don't think there's any doubt about it. But you saw it as a different game with Grant Nelson in there. It changed when Grant Nelson left. And all Richard's point is because he had said it on the show the other day, obviously, Nelson playing well helps you, but what it does for every other position out there is so critical. And the health of Grant Nelson, Robert Morris doesn't really matter. But once you get to, the 7-10 winner right there, whether you're facing
Grant's,
St. Mary's.
His length, his ability to put it on the deck, take it to the rack. I mean, he is a guy that he's hard to defend because of his length and his ability to shoot it. And when he gets hot, he is one of these guys that's very streaky. But in order for Alabama to get back to a Final Four, he's got to be healthy.
Yep, 100%. You got to have you some Grant Nelson. All right, I know where we're going tonight.
Wednesday night,
That's
Odie's
right.
Team Trivia, every Wednesday. The original location in Crestline. Get there early. Enjoy the great food from Rodney Davis. Award-winning wings, delicious sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich, fantastic burgers, of course, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light, and those Odie's famous Styrofoam cup cocktails. They are the best. Get NC Will Haver, 2 locations, the one we will be at tonight in Crestline, the Edgewood location as well. Birmingham Institution, it's Odie's Tavern.
All right, when we return, we'll go 4 downs with you, and still the stats that show this might be the most wide-open tournament in NCAA/Ken Palm/seeding history. I'll explain all of that coming up a little bit later on the next round.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter @ScottForresterTV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality, legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
What a great time of year to be online with our friends at mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag, where right now you get a major current sign-up bonus, a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That's code NEXTROUND. We're talking about all the madness of March, the NBA playoff race, the start of Major League Baseball, and it's all for you right now online when using the code NEXTROUND. Go sign up today, mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short-notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
If you are a business that does a lot of printing, like a car dealership, mortgage company, real estate office, tax office, bank, school, or university, print more and spend less with ImageCraft. ImageCraft is located at 1151 Gadsden Highway in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center, and online at imagecraft.net. They carry all the major brands like HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, and Xerox. Shop in-store, mention TNR for a 10% discount. Shop online at imagecraft.net with coupon code TNR10. ImageCraft. Print more, spend less.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means that your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
We continue on the next round. We got people everywhere. EG is over at Alabama Pro Day. She just texted me in the break, Emily Grace McWhorter did, and said that Jalen Milroe is running the 40 today. Did not run it in Indianapolis, which surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think what that tells me, and maybe I'm reading too much into this, maybe he wasn't 100% healthy, maybe he wanted to work on technique a little bit. I thought he'd go to Indianapolis. I thought he would absolutely dust the 40. I thought in the 4.5 range. You know, is this a situation where Milroe's just really football fast with the pads on? And does he go out and run like a 4.6?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, what would you have thought Jalen was? I would think he's around a 4.5 guy.
I was going to say 4.4. I mean, he looked like the fastest guy on the field almost any time he ran, and that was in the SEC. Like, go back to that Georgia game. Georgia took a bad angle on that guy time and time again in that game. And that's Georgia we're talking about.
Yeah,
it's the best defenders out there.
But some of these guys, like going back and watching Cam Newton, and you remember the one infamous play against LSU where Patrick Peterson, he just completely leaves him in the dust.
Yeah.
And I thought you saw that football speed from this gigantic guy. And, I don't think he's going to go out and do a Lamar Jackson. I mean, Lamar Jackson ran a sub 4.4 back in 2017.
Yeah, I'd be surprised at that. Yeah.
Now, what that would do, I think, and I could be, you call me crazy because of the inconsistencies. I think we're going to get 3 quarterbacks in this first round. Obviously, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. People are going to reach. I've seen Jackson Dart going in the top 10 now.
That's incredible.
Which I think is an absolute joke, but we'll see how that plays out. But I do think there are 3 locked in with Jackson Dart being that third. But if Jalen Milroe was to post around a 4.4, I think some people are going to say this guy could end up being Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those guys.
I'm not either, but
sometimes what people are physically able to do with some of the measurables, it will catapult them in the draft.
So Pro Day in Tuscaloosa, EG over there at Next Round Live for that, and Cover Crimson, Clint Lamb over there as well. So covercrimson.com.
I'm going to say he runs a 4.58.
4.58 is Lance's official
Yes.
projection. You can see all of that at Cover Crimson today, covercrimson.com. We're about to do 4 downs. A reminder before we do that, though, our friend Alexander Shinara. They are Alexander Shinara trial attorneys.
Oh, can I say something about Shinara real quick?
To help you. You're more than welcome to say something.
Somebody sent me a long email with a potential case, and they were like, can you forward this to Alexander Shinara? Now, there's a lot of ways that you can get in touch with Shinara. He's got call centers all over the place.
Shinara.com is a great place to start.
They've got great infrastructure. So, Shinara.com. But did find it interesting that, I caught myself up in the middle of this case today. I was like, damn, that's...
Did they give you the details?
Oh, yeah.
So you read all the details?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
You think Shinara's got this one?
I mean, if anybody does, it's Shinara.
That's right. That was a wise choice to get in touch with Shinara. Headquartered in Birmingham, 24 years. The firm has grown to 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members, and they've recovered more than $2 billion, and maybe growing thanks to the person emailing Lance there. $2 billion. Alexander's mission was to create a firm that could handle any issue his community faced. They now handle not only any personal injury claim, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, a host of other claims. That is our guy, Alexander Shinara. Shinara.com. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shinara.com. So I mentioned EG is over in Tuscaloosa for Pro Day. Jim Dunaway not here with us today because he's flying currently to Cleveland for Alabama as they play in the NCAA Tournament. And Little T is on her way to Lexington as she is going to cover the Auburn Tigers. Here's Auburn's Dylan Cardwell. I mentioned maybe Auburn. I mean, I don't know if I guess. All right, understand what I'm about to say. Auburn's not playing the best basketball of the season heading into this tournament. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Now,
losing 3 of 4. And again, I understand.
Now,
you
it's a
saw
high
Bruce
bar
say
for
it.
Auburn.
Oh, yeah, we're really panicked. You know, we lost to, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Tennessee.
So when you say Auburn is not playing their best basketball of the year, their best basketball of the year was the best basketball in the country. So it's obviously a very, very high bar. So understand that when you say they're not playing their best basketball of the year. But there have been a lot of questions. We heard Bruce Pearl ask the question about panicked. Here's Dylan Cardwell, though, on the urgency this Auburn team now has to have. You lose to Tennessee Saturday in the SEC tournament. You live past that. The next loss, season's over, and he knows that.
Just a heightened sense of urgency. My prayer is and my thought is moving forward. I hope these 3 losses that we've had, the ones that we've lost, we gave these games away. No one really beat us. We beat ourselves, but just having a sense of urgency moving forward into the tournament, knowing that the next time, God forbid, that we lose a game, we're going home. There's no more team meal. There's no more, film. There's no more being a team. And so just having that sense of urgency to continue the season, prolong the season so we can spend more time as a family, as a unit, because these are my brothers. These are people I love to be around every single day. And I want to play until April 7th just so I can get more time with my friends. Most importantly, obviously make history. But just a heightened sense of urgency. This is the greatest team I've ever been on, and I don't want these guys to take it for granted. So if boxing out, and if making free throws and making layups, if that's what's going to take to prolong our season, then just buy in and have a heightened sense of urgency.
Lot to like about that guy. I really like Dylan Cardwell. Seems like a good kid. Everything I've heard about him is he's a good kid. He plays really hard. I think he plays with a good attitude. The problem with him is he cannot shoot free throws to save his life, so Auburn can't have him on the court in critical situations.
Yep. And obviously every coach in college basketball knows that. And, that is one of the reasons down the stretch in some of these tight games. And, when is that first tight game? Is it round 2? Is it once we get to the Sweet 16? Again, talking to Auburn fans last night, the team they want out is Texas A&M.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the rebounding issue, right? That Texas A&M
is
a very good rebounding team.
And again, Yale, I would be shocked if they made a Sweet 16 run, but you would love to see Yale again, right?
Yale versus Auburn would the throwback, yeah. But he's 33% free throw shooter, which is just atrocious. He can't do it, and he's got zero confidence. It's painful to watch him. Broome is 60%, and I don't feel like he's shooting 60% right now. That's his season average. His last 2 weeks average feels less than 60%.
Yeah, and this is another one of these reasons that I think Broome's going to have trouble at the next level.
Yeah.
I have seen now one mock draft that had Broome going the last pick of the first round.
Good. I hope that's the case.
Yeah, I do too. I hope he will get an opportunity.
Yeah. It's just whether it's guaranteed money or not. But, you wonder with Broome, those free throws down the stretch, I mean, it hurt him a little bit in the Tennessee game. The free throw disparity in that Tennessee game, it'll take me a second to pull it up. What did that end up being?
Well, I pulled the numbers.
Not as far as free throws attempted, but free throws made.
I think in the 3 losses, I think on average, teams have made 12 more free throws per game. I think that's the way it was.
I've got Auburn?
Yeah, I've got the notes in there. But those 3 losses to Alabama, A&M, and Tennessee, I think they averaged 12 more made threes, or 12 more made free throws, or maybe it was just 12 more attempted free throws.
Well, you lost this game by 5 if you're Auburn. Tennessee was 25 of 27 from the stripe. Spectacular from the stripe, including 9 out of 9 from Sakai Ziegler and 8 out of 8 from Jordan Gainey. Auburn was 13 of 22. So you only, the discrepancy in free throw shot was only 5, and some of that was Auburn fouling at the end. But it was free throws made that got you beat 25-13, and you lose the game by 5. That cost you a game against Tennessee.
That's facts.
Yeah, and the next time you do that cost you the season. So it is a concern moving forward. What was Broome in that game? Because it felt a little painful to watch Janai Broome shoot free throws in that game, 5 of 12. And this is a guy, Broome, that doesn't go to the line an incredible amount. He gets fouled a lot less than you would think a guy of his stature gets fouled. Or at least fouls get called on him a lot less than a guy of his stature you would think gets fouled. But as an Auburn fan told me the other day, I don't know if I want him at the line. The guy can't make anything when he gets there. So free throw shooting, if I'm a Tennessee fan, free throw shooting is going to factor into an NCAA tournament
Where are
game.
Auburn fans on Broome taking that 3? Now, if he's got the wide open 3 again, biggest 3 he hit this year was in a loss to Alabama when he tied it up in overtime. But you saw one against Tennessee where he had a little pressure on him, and the shot clock was running down. He hit the left corner of the back.
Yes, yeah.
I think that's going to be another problem for him at the next level, creating his own shot from the perimeter.
Yeah. I think Auburn fans are fine with Broome taking 3s. I think he hits enough. If it were, for instance, the end of the Alabama game, or the end of regulation in the Alabama game, when he's got that look and he ends up settling for a 15-foot fadeaway, I think they would prefer a different shot than that.
Yeah.
But if the game's on the line, getting the ball in Broome's hands is never going to be a terrible decision, I don't think. All right, let's do 4 Downs, brought to you every day by Bojangles. We got that Bojangles breakfast. I wish it were here today. Tyler wants it. Didn't you say you're desperate? You've tried it though, haven't you?
No, I haven't tried it yet. I've been meaning to make a trip out to Bojangles and eat a bunch of chicken and Bo-Berry waffles. They look delicious.
Well, if you're tired of choosing between sweet and savory, you don't have to do that anymore. Have both. The Bojangles chicken and Bo-Berry waffles, signature Cajun chicken filet drizzled with a Bo-Berry glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles, available for a limited time. It's Bo time. They bring you 4 Downs.
First down.
All celebrity birthdays here, Brown.
Love it. Those are my favorites.
Theo Vaughn, 45 years old.
Little T's favorite. She loves Theo Vaughn.
I cannot believe I'm stuck and having to go see this guy.
Oh, you're going to see Theo Vaughn?
Well, I gave it to Jack and Jace for Christmas. They both like Theo Vaun a lot, as most 11, 12-year-old kids. I don't know anybody above 20 that likes Theo Vaun outside of Taylor.
What was the wow? You don't know anybody above 20 that likes Theo Vaun?
I know plenty of people that love
that was a joke.
That was an overstatement, by the way.
But boy, I'll tell you, Theo Vaughn, and I don't know where he's been because I probably started hearing about Theo Vaughn 2 or 3 years ago. But 45 years old, is he a kind of a late bloomer?
You could
Theo
say that.
Vaughn's
He's
45?
He's been doing stand-up for well over a decade, so he's finally just now starting to really get the attention.
Theo Vaughn's 45?
Yeah, I mean,
there's clips of him on Big Brother or
he looks
one
at
of those
his
shows
40s.
back in the day. Yeah,
I didn't know he was 45. I would have said 40.
I am stunned that Theo Vaughn is 45. Maybe I'm late to the
Better
party here.
career, though, Theo Vaughn or Lindsey Vaughn?
Oh, yeah. Lindsey Vaughn was...
I mean, she's a gold medalist.
Medalist skier. They ended up dating Tiger Woods in a strange relationship.
And then she dated some other celebrity. But I think Lindsey Vaughn, if you checked her net worth, I think, probably not where Theo is right now.
Check Theo Vaughn's net worth, Jeeves, and I'll look up Lindsey
I will
Vaughn.
say Lindsey Vaughn is $13 million.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for a downhill skier.
Well, I mean, look, she had a good look to her, and you're looking for endorsements when you come around the Olympics. She was in multiple Olympics, so, yeah, I bet she got paid.
Lindsey Vaughn net worth estimated to be $14 million. Would you say 13?
13.
That's weird.
Corny, man.
That's weird.
I will say Theo Vaughn's he looks like a spender, although he looks like he had showered in a couple of days. I'll say Theo's 15.
So I'm not sure what to make of these numbers because
they're never accurate.
Some reports are saying $5 million for Theo, which would make sense if he's a spender. But then, there's one website that has his social media income estimates, and it says last month he made anywhere between $552,000 and $692,000 off of his social media.
Oh, just on his social media?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good. I don't know.
So who are you going with? I think ultimately it's going to be Theo Vaughn because I don't know if Lindsey Vaughn's ever going to do anything again.
Well, yeah, Lindsey Vaughn.
I would say Lindsey at this point.
Yeah. Probably so, but I think eventually Theo Vaughn, his content is going to be out there forever. How often are people going to go watch Lindsey Vaughn ski downhill, I think his content's going to be more prevalent than hers.
Yeah, what was the show on HBO where everybody disappeared? With Justin Theroux?
No idea.
Scott Glenn was in it. It wasn't The Leftovers. Maybe it was The Leftovers. I think it was The Leftovers. And my point would... Yeah, if Lindsey Vaughn and Theo Vaughn left Earth today in a leftover scenario where they just disappear, I would have to go Lindsey Vaughn today, but I think ultimately it's going to be Theo.
Yeah, I think ultimately it'll be Theo Vaughn. I am just stunned. He's 45. I had no idea it was that old. Him explaining to President Trump what it was like to be high on cocaine was hilarious.
That is such a good clip.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
He's just explaining what it's like to be high on cocaine to a presidential candidate. It was pretty funny.
Somebody in the chat said Theo was on The Real World. It wasn't Big Brother.
Okay.
But MTV's Real World about 15 years ago. So.
All right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I knew he had some history like that. I didn't know it was that long ago, though.
Second down.
Clayton Kershaw is 37 years old today.
All right.
Got to watch a little Dodgers this 6-3 win.
Yeah.
2-0, by the way.
That's right. Great start for the Dodgers. Their next home game is in April.
Yeah, they don't play for 8 more days.
I know.
So Clayton Kershaw or Luka Doncic? Ultimately better career.
It's going to be Kershaw. Kershaw is arguably the best pitcher of this generation. I mean, you could argue Verlander.
Yeah, I think best left-hander.
Yeah.
Boy, I mean, the postseason has hurt him so much.
It has, but he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean, even last year when they won their second championship with Kershaw on the roster, he was on the DL, never pitched in the postseason.
Yeah, I would say Clayton Kershaw is eventually going to have the better career.
I'm going to go Kershaw, although pulling for Luka hard now, but I think Kershaw is going to be that guy.
Third down.
Bruce Willis, 70 years old today. Bruce not in the best shape. Heard he can't communicate anymore. Really sad.
That is very sad.
Sad story there. But Bruce Willis, to go from where he was to becoming a mega blockbuster action star, pretty incredible. Bruce Willis or Bruce Smith, former D-end for the Buffalo Bills. One of the best to ever play the position.
He was one of the best to ever play the position. He wasn't considered the best of his time because of Lawrence Taylor.
Right.
If not for Lawrence Taylor, Bruce Smith, Reggie White was in that generation too. That was a heck of a pass rush generation.
It was.
Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor, Bruce Smith.
Well, boy, Bruce Smith was good. Obviously, first ballot Hall of Famer, was dominant at Virginia Tech. I'm going to go Bruce Willis.
I mean, Bruce Willis has put up some clunkers, but I guess Bruce Smith did too. We just don't think of him in the same way.
Every Super Bowl, outside of the first Super Bowl.
That's true. Yeah, every Super Bowl was a clunker for him.
Yeah, they were
also
his.
who gets stopped in an airport.
Oh, Bruce
If
Willis
you're going that
1,000 times.
Yeah. What was the color shade of night? The Bruce Willis Jane March movie, where he was like a psychiatrist. That was his.
There was Sixth Sense where he was a
no.
psychiatrist.
He was. That was a really good Bruce Willis movie. This was. See if you can find it real quick. Color of Night. That was it. Color of Night. That was his. Bruce Smith, Bills against the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
This is the first time I remember him, but I was a kid.
Scott Bakula also in that.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep.
This is the first time I remember Bruce Willis, but I was a kid. Was Moonlighting his arrival? I mean, that's where he got launched.
So much success with Sybil Shepherd. And you can go back, like, this is a really cool documentary series, which I think you've probably seen it. The Movies That Made Us in the 80s.
I've seen a lot of
those.
those,
And when they do Die Hard, when he was cast, people were like, you got to be kidding. And like they even said, like the trailers, people were laughing because he was so known for moonlighting.
Yeah.
And they were like, there's no way this guy can be this action star that saves all these people.
I don't remember anything about Moonlighting except when I was
I've never seen it.
When I was probably 8 to 10 years old, it was one of the biggest shows on TV, and Bruce Willis was on it, and then he became a star. And Sybil Shepherd, I remember her. I mean, she was still around, but he became the big star off of it. Kind of like Don Johnson became the big star of Miami Vice in that same generation. I think I will go Bruce Willis easy.
Fourth down.
Andy Reid, 67 years old. Andy Reid or Andy Griffith?
Andy Reid is probably...
He's a top 5 coach.
Yeah, I was going to go
NFL.
Greatest NFL coaches all time. You're probably going to go Lombardi, Landry, Shula, Belichick are pretty easy, right?
Yeah, is Hallis there?
Is Hallis in front of Andy Reid?
I mean Sean McVay is going to be there.
Baby
it's
Belichick.
a matter of time.
But the first 4 are pretty easy, right? I mean, you got to go Lombardi, Landry, Shula, and Belichick.
I definitely would go. I guess Landry's on that list.
I mean, didn't he win 3 Super Bowls?
2 or 3.
2 or 3? And a ton of wins.
Yeah, and like those guys, I mean, Belichick had Brady.
Oh, everybody had good quarterbacks. Shula had Marino, not that he won any championships.
Look, and I do think Andy Reid contributes to his quarterbacks being that good, but he did have Donovan McNabb. Alex Smith was not a bad option. And obviously, maybe, one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks of all time right now in Mahomes.
All right, Landry, a 2-time Super Bowl champion. I was going to look at total wins. Keep in mind now he was coaching in shorter NFL seasons.
Yeah, I mean, I think the seasons back then were 14 games, weren't they?
But in Dallas, he had 250 wins. I mean, that's a lot of wins when you consider, I think the most he ever coached was 16 games in a regular season. I think most of the time it was 14 or 15 games when he was coaching.
So Andy Griffith, though, did it twice, the Andy Griffith Show, which I know you and your boy Ush absolutely love.
I watched it a lot as a kid. I haven't seen it. I haven't watched it in a very long time, but that is a absolute classic show.
Oh, Ush still watches.
Oh, I know he does.
Yeah,
I watch it all day.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. I know it was really wholesome, and I've seen a couple of episodes, but I do respect the fact that, #1 show on TV, and then he goes to Matlock. And they've even got spinoffs now with Kathy Bates with Matlock.
Oh, I know. That is still living. And they tried everything they could to keep Andy Griffith going. They were like spinoff after spinoff.
But he never lost a case, did he?
No, Matlock, no.
Always
no.
ate a hot dog out front of the courthouse.
Yep.
Seersucker suit, which I think he could get away with it. A lot of people can't.
I think I would go Andy Reid here, but this one is really tight.
You know what? I'm going to go Andy Griffith here.
I mean, I've got no problem with that. He was a comedian before all of that.
He was raunchy, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's extremely blue.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah,
that's where Dice Clay is inspiration.
It's easy to confuse the two. But, I mean, that show was the #1 TV show, and it changed TV in a lot of ways. So I got no problem with you going Andy Griffith there. I'd probably go Andy Reid, but Andy Griffith is an easy call.
Troy in the chat brings up a good point. From the moment it aired, Andy Griffith's show has never been off the air.
Yep.
It's always been playing somewhere.
Wow. So, was it the 60s?
60s.
Yeah. No, he's right. It has been in syndication. And I don't think any of those people were probably in syndication deals. which is probably why it's still on TV so much. Like, I doubt.
so.
Oh, yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
Any of those guys got points.
Don Knotts and, people like that.
And they're all
got
dead
money.
anyway.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is passed
Ron
on.
Howard's the only one that's still alive.
But imagine how much.
B's still alive, right? He's 231.
Imagine how much Don Knotts or an Andy Griffith would have made in syndication rights.
Gosh.
Holy crap.
But yeah, that does say something, because are there any other, like The Simpsons, and they're still, it's not even in syndication. That's just running on Prime, Fox. But are there any other shows from like Leave It to Beaver? Has it been on always?
Yeah, I doubt it's been continuous. Happy Days, maybe?
I know Leave It to Beaver was on that
TV Land
network. Yeah.
That's probably where Happy Days is. You probably can find about anything on TV Land. The Love Boat.
Now, a lot of those old shows were brought back maybe 10 years ago. Hasbro started a TV network called The Hub, and they tried to make it educational, but all of the shows were just advertising Hasbro toys. So their lineup would be
it's educational for them. They're educating the consumer on their product.
We're educating you on our new lineup of products, but it would be Transformers, then G.I. Joe, then My Little Pony and stuff like that. It would just be buy toys, buy toys, buy toys. And they were still getting tax breaks for educational TV.
I don't know how you grade. I don't know how you grade successive spinoffs, but the Gomer Pyle show was pretty successful, wasn't it? Gomer Pyle USMC. I think that was a pretty successful show.
I would think it was.
Yeah.
But how big of a part was Gomer Pyle on the Andy Griffith show?
Oh, he was a pretty big part. It's what made him.
What was he in that show?
He was the mechanic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, worked for the service station and was kind of the
didn't stereotype him at all, right?
Yeah, the dumb Alabama guy. Make him the mechanic. And then when he moved on, you know what they did? They hired his cousin, George Lindsay from Jasper. Make him the mechanic now.
And then the mechanic in Dukes of Hazzard, Cooter,
yeah. He was basically George Lindsay made over.
And he was a politician, right?
Oh, yeah, he ended up running for office. Yeah. I can't remember his given name, Cooter. But no, he was Ben Jones, I think was his name. Is that right?
I think you're right.
Ben Jones.
Right. Is Uncle Jesse still alive?
Oh, Lord. Denver Pyle. He was in both those, by the way. He had a role in Andy Griffith and
what was he in? He wasn't the drunk, was he?
No, he was. No, that was Otis Campbell. Denver Pyle played the Darlings. You remember the mountain family that would come down? Yeah, Denver Pyle. I mean, he was
Were
probably
they those blue people where they had so much incest
that was
they turned
Kentucky.
blue?
He was probably in 7 or 8 episodes. It wasn't a ton. Were you looking at something, Jeeves?
No.
Okay. That is 4 downs.
I love he talking about Hasbro's tax breaks.
I know. Presented by Bojangles. It's bow time. All right, maybe some great Alabama and Auburn moments coming up in the NCAA tournament. And our guy, Daniel A. Moore, is on the ready to paint any of those. New Life Art. Daniel A. Moore. You can go to DanielMooreArt.com, use promo code TNR, and get a great discount there at DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com, the legend featuring Nick Saban. Don't forget, with the Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, all featured in some of the great paintings by Daniel Moore. Time to revisit some of those if you don't have those hanging in your house there. DanielMooreArt.com, that is DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR. For more at DanielMooreArt.com. And coming up later on, you mentioned you were on the wrong side last night with the Aztecs of San Diego State, but you got a new game tonight. Texas and Xavier will be up at LancesLock.com, presented by Hemp Hill.
Yeah, 5 plays up. We got a free play in the NBA right now. So we were 2-2 in college hoops yesterday. Our March Madness package started yesterday. Still will jump on board. Available right now, $75. Gets you everything through the national championship matchup, first Monday of April. Again, free play available right now. Jump on board and win with us. 5 total plays up tonight. At Lance's Lock, always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Statistically, is this the most wide open tournament we've seen in a while? We'll give you that next on the next round.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, It's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money. If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now with code NEXTROUND and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we're about to get a little stat nerdy. I'll go ahead and warn you as it pertains to the NCAA basketball tournament.
I didn't know this.
Ken Palm, stat nerdy.
The recluse,
Ken Palm. We found out he's a meteorologist in the first hour if you were just joining us.
We are going to have to make an effort to get him on, just at least where he can turn us down. Maybe he can tell us, he can validate your theory, which I think is probably accurate.
Yeah, that he makes too much money off other programs.
There is no way he's got the credibility and the faith these coaches have in him without him doing like a regular media tour, unless that is the reason.
Yeah.
That's got to be it.
Yep, I think that's it. This is the Champies Hour. They've just thrown their door open down at Champies, world-famous fried chicken. Go see Sterling and all the crew down there and enjoy some great Southern fried chicken recipes, Mississippi Delta po' boys. Don't forget our Mississippi Delta tamales. I do that every single time. The po' boys, the Mississippi Delta tamales, the great chicken, the great sides, Champy's Chicken, champy'schicken.com. Sterling, just a great guy down there. Champy's world famous fried chicken, champy'schicken.com. All right, let's look at some MyBookie point spreads, and then we'll talk about this being a wide open tournament. Tomorrow, I gave you some for tomorrow's action, but just quickly tomorrow, some of the high points in Auburn's bracket. Louisville now up to a 3-point favorite over the Creighton Blue Jays. A lot of people think Creighton will win that game. Auburn a 32-point favorite over Alabama State. A game that we have talked surprisingly a lot about on this show, BYU a 3-point favorite over VCU. Other SEC teams, Georgia a 6-point underdog against Gonzaga. Tennessee a 19-point favorite over the Wofford Terriers. Arkansas a 4.5-point dog as they play Kansas. Texas A&M a 7.5-point dog as they play Yale. Missouri a 7-point dog to Drake. That's all from the SEC. Friday action, Mississippi State a 1-point dog as they play Baylor in an 8-9 game. Bama, a 23-point favorite over Robert Morris. Ole Miss, a 1.5-point dog to North Carolina, who just won the play-in game. They're going to be a favorite as an 11 seed over 6 seed Ole Miss. Florida, 28.5-point favorite over Norfolk State. Kentucky, 11.5-point favorite as they take on Troy. UConn, 5.5-point favorite over Oklahoma. That's all your SEC teams playing right there. You asked earlier. Boy, I've got a lot from mybookie.ag. We'll go through that in 1 second.
You talking teams to win the national championship?
I've got Elite 8 props, Sweet 16 props, national championship, all that. Well, let's do that real quick. Mybookie.ag, though, that's where I'm talking about all of this. You can play any game, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on right now. Code next round, you get that sign-on bonus, 50% up to $1,000, and a $10 casino chip. So it's great for the sportsbook, great for the casino. MyBookie.ag, code next round, 50% sign-on bonus up to $1,000, and a $10 casino chip at MyBookie.ag, code next round. Sweet 16 props, MyBookie.ag. I'm just looking at these for the first time.
Okay, give me a team, and I'll tell you what I think it is.
So this is yes, no.
Okay.
Yes, no to reach the Sweet 16. Auburn.
Minus 1,200.
Minus 400. Is that lower than you would have thought? 441, actually.
Yeah, it's much. Well, let me pull that back. 1,200 is a massive number. Minus 400 is still a massive number. So what that tells me is, no chance Alabama State. And then when you match up with either Louisville or Creighton, I think Auburn's going to be an 8.5 to 10-point favorite.
Yeah.
And we see 8.5, 10-point favorites lose every Saturday in college basketball. So minus 400 solid.
Alabama to reach the Sweet 16.
I think Alabama to reach Sweet 16 is going to be lower than that, minus 260.
240. So about where you would have thought then, right?
Yep.
Duke.
Duke is...
Now keep in mind, Auburn, as the overall number one, was minus 440.
Yeah, I think Duke is going to be maybe higher than that. Well, the Cooper Flag thing, probably minus 400.
Minus 725.
Okay, it was higher than that.
This is just Sweet 16.
Yeah, I do think people believe that Cooper Flag is close to 100.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the other one seeds. It's all the teams here, so you have to give me a second to dig through these. Houston
to make the Sweet 16. They got Gonzaga possibly standing there. Houston minus 450.
319 for Houston. Tennessee's minus 265 to make the Sweet 16. And
Florida's got to be minus 800.
699
for
Florida.
Again, I think UConn is holding that back a little bit.
Yeah.
I heard Mike Krzyzewski back to the show. He was like, it's going to be interesting, Dan Hurley, what he is able to sell his team being 0-0, because you're basically clean slate going into this tournament.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
March Madness, your overall pick is Duke plus 280, Florida plus 340, Auburn plus 420, Houston plus 560, Alabama plus 1725, and Tennessee's plus 2,000. So you were asking the question earlier, did I make the right call? Your first pick was the fifth pick. You had your choice between Bama and Tennessee. The odds are Alabama is the better choice of the two. Why do you think that is? You think it's just bracket related?
I think, maybe bracket related, maybe at their top of their game when you play to your ceiling.
Yeah.
And I do think it is difficult sometimes in today's basketball to have a team like Tennessee cutting down the nets when you're offensively challenged at times.
All those odds right there at mybookie.ag, code next round. Mybookie.ag, code next round. Okay. This is going to be a little stat nerdy, so you're going to have to stick with me. I'm going to try to be as clear with it as I can, okay? This is from Connor Allen, who covers kind of sports gambling, but he's looking at this from the KenPom college basketball point of view. He starts by saying, Lance, March Madness is known for wild upsets, yet over 90% of NCAA tournaments were won over the last 22 years since KenPom was introduced to teams that meet these two KenPom criteria. Now, you've seen us send them out, top 40 offense, top 25 defense. That's at the end of the tournament. Okay, that's where you finish the tournament. Every champion since 2002 has finished in Ken Palm's top 40 adjusted offense and top 25 adjusted defense. Going into the tournament, it's 37th, top 40 offense, top 37th defense. So here's how this works out. If you boil it down, there are 11 teams that meet this criteria.
Okay.
So based on historical Ken Palm numbers, 11 teams meet the criteria. These would say, since the advent of Ken Palm, all these teams have been top 21 offense and top 37 defense going into the NCAA tournament. These would be the ones that, aside from there were 2 outliers in all of this, these would be the teams you would pick to win the national championship. Number 1 is Duke. First overall, they're 3rd in offense, 4th in defense. Not a surprise there. Number 2, Florida. They are 1st in offense, 10th in defense right now. Number 3, Houston. 10th in offense, 2 in defense. The 4th overall is Auburn. They are 2nd in offense, 12th in defense. Now, the way he rated these, obviously, is he added the 2 numbers together. The 5th is Tennessee. This would go against your question right there about Tennessee, but not by much. 18th in offense, 3rd in defense. The 6th is Alabama. 4th in adjusted offense, 32nd in adjusted defense. Still under the cut. Defense a little higher than some
and
of them.
did you not tell me that Alabama can play their way into this?
Oh, easy. Yeah. They could play their way into the top 25 at the end of the year. I think that's why the cutoff is at 37, because you can play your way in the top 25. All right, so you're not surprised at any of those I just mentioned. Duke, Florida, Houston, Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama. Everybody in the world thinks one of those 2 teams could win a national championship. But wait, there's more. Here are other teams that could. Texas Tech, 6th in offense, right on the cut line, 37th in defense. You feel about Texas Tech, Hal?
I mean, JT Toppin really, really good. And this is a Texas Tech team. When you look at, in conference, did they get a beneficial draw? Like, they're going to win round 1, but then you get Missouri or Drake. The bottom is St. John's, and you were right about this. A lot of people are high on St. John's.
More on them in a moment.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I thought people would be high on them. Gonzaga. You want to talk about a team that might be criminally underseeded? Gonzaga.
And by the way, Texas Tech, the only team to beat Houston in the Big 12 this year.
Gonzaga is 9th overall, 9th in adjusted offense, 29th in adjusted defense.
So when you look at the Zags, and this is the problem I've got with Gonzaga, and they're hard to figure out. But the fact is, they're 4-6 against top 50 Ken Palm teams. You know what their 4 wins are? Baylor.
Okay.
Indiana.
That's a team that's not in.
San Diego State.
A team that didn't play in.
And after getting swept by St. Mary's in the regular season, they beat St. Mary's in the conference championship game. So, you give me a quality win for Gonzaga.
Yeah.
And those three wins, Indiana, Baylor, and San Diego State, were back in November.
Yeah. Iowa State is 10th overall in this. These are teams that meet the historic Ken Palm criteria going into the tournament. Top 21 offense, top 37 defense.
Keyshawn Gilbert will not be playing in this tournament, though. That's a big loss.
That is. 20th in offense, 9th in defense for Iowa State. Wisconsin meets this criteria. 13th in adjusted offense.
Could see Alabama in the Sweet 16.
They could. 27th in adjusted defense. And the 11th team that meets this criteria, this is 11 of them, is Arizona. 12th in offense, 33rd in defense. So here are the 11 teams that have the national championship DNA going into the tournament that has crowned every national championship since 2002. Duke, Florida, Houston, Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama, Texas Tech, Gonzaga, Iowa State, Wisconsin, Arizona. And as Connor says, I've been tracking this since the beginning. This is the most qualifying teams I have ever seen.
I do think one of those teams wins a national championship. Is that fair?
Well, it's 11 teams I'm giving you, so you take those 11 versus
I'll take those 11 versus field, yeah.
So if you wonder some teams that could be dangerous but may not meet the national championship criteria, here's who Connor says. Maryland, they just missed the cut. They missed the cut on offense.
I do like this Maryland team, though.
Michigan State just misses the cut, and they miss it on offense in Auburn's bracket.
I do think we would feel better about Michigan State if they would have played a little bit better in the Big Ten tournament, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah. A team you like, Clemson, just misses the cut on offense.
I mean, this is a team that made an Elite Eight run last year, and I think this might be a better overall team. No P.J. Hall, who's in the G League now, but still very, very good team.
A team I don't know if you like or don't like, but they just missed the cut, and that's Illinois.
I do. Illinois is finally healthy, and Brad Underwood's one of these guys. He really hasn't had the deep tournament run. Thought they were going to be that team last year with Terrence Shannon Jr., but Illinois, they're a gritty team, really good offense. I think they could make a run.
Now, he says, I'm about to give you, and I'll
Slade
do the same.
said Texas is beating them. I don't know if you
that's
saw
what
that.
he said. I saw that. He said, I'll give you 7 teams that will be extremely popular in the brackets, but did not meet the threshold by a wide margin, okay? These are 3 teams that missed big. First, let me tell you about our guy, Greg from Pell City. You can find Greg right there on Facebook if you would like, Greg from Pell City on Facebook. Or simply give Greg a call, because when you do that, he's going to get up on that roof where you're in storm season in the Deep South. And so many times when storms come through, they do damage, and you need a true pro that is up there evaluating the damage. He works well with the insurance companies as well. So you can trust Greg, and you can trust that he's going to get the best deal for you and make sure you get taken care of. There are times he's going to come down from your roof and say you don't need to do anything. 205-542-3531 is Greg's number. That's his cell number. Just give him a call or shoot him a text. 205-542-3531. Greg Nelson, Greg from Pell City, Storm Restoration Roofing. Storm Restoration Roofing. Our Stews, I'm going to get back to this in a moment, but Our Stews throws out another one. There's this weird thing that since 2004, the top 12 in the Associated Press poll, week 6, has determined your national champion. Every national championship since 2004 has been won by a team that's in the AP top 12, week 6. Now, you say, why week 6? That's the end of the pre-conference and the start of the conference. So you've sorted out.
So you've got that top 12.
I've got that top 12 right here. I had it, but Our Stews, he shows it in the chat, so I'm just going to read it from him.
Was Kansas still in the top 12 then?
Kansas was still in the top 12.
Okay.
You can eliminate them. But here's your top 12 teams. Tennessee was number 1.
Okay. And we both agree they could win the national championship.
They could win a national championship. Auburn was number 2. We agree
Definitely.
there. Iowa State was number 3.
I don't think they can.
I don't think they
Keyshawn
can.
Gilbert out.
Duke was number 4.
Yes.
Easy. Kentucky was number 5.
I don't think they can.
Marquette was number 6.
I don't think they can.
Alabama was number 7.
I think Alabama could win a national championship.
Gonzaga was number 8. Here are the Zags again.
I would be blown away.
They meet all these criteria.
And that's fine. But this is like a light version of Gonzaga that we've seen under Mark Few. And we have seen 5-6 teams much better than this team.
Florida was number 9.
Absolutely.
Kansas 10. Nope. No. Purdue 11.
Nope.
And Oregon 12, a team you like.
I do like Oregon.
But I think you probably find your national champion in that group, don't you? I mean, I left out Texas Tech. If you think Texas Tech can win it all, they were not in that group.
Michigan State was not in that group.
Michigan State was not in that group. Did I say
St. John's
Houston?
was not in that group.
Was Houston not ranked?
They had to have been.
Yeah, that could be wrong. I read it from him. Let me go back and find it. I swear Houston had to be in the top 12 then.
Had to be.
Week 6. I'll pull it up in a minute. Let me finish this, though. Here are teams, 7 teams that are going to be popular in brackets that did not meet the thresholds by a large margin. Number 1, St. John's. They were 65th in offense. Now, I don't know if people are picking St. John's to win it all. I think people just believe that St. John's could make a deep run because of Rick Pitino. I don't know that anybody's got them winning the whole thing, but Lance, they are the 65th offense in the country.
I mean, R.J. Louise is their only chance, right?
Yep. Missouri, people, I guess that's a popular pick. I don't know if Missouri's a popular pick.
I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I don't know where it is right now.
73rd defensively.
Yeah.
Nowhere close.
I mean, they've limped in.
Yeah, 73rd defensively. Kentucky, you mentioned them, 56th defensively. Texas A&M, 44th offensively. Purdue, here's Purdue's problem. They are 63rd defensively, nowhere close to the type of defense required to win a national championship statistically. Michigan, you like Michigan.
Yep.
47th on offense. Dusty May's offense just is not good enough.
Starting to get better.
And Kansas, the reason they're not there is they are 48th on offense. By the way, everybody in the chat room, I'd have to go back and confirm this, but I'm going to take the chat room because there's so many that are saying the same thing. Houston was 5-3 week 6, ranked number 15.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's a heck of a rebound by Kelvin to get them a 1 seed, starting out 5-3.
Is that more of an indictment on the Big 12?
Could be, because that's where he did all his work, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, 1 loss to Texas Tech in overtime.
Yeah. So there's your top 12. There's all the nerdy Ken Palm stats from the meteorologist that tells you who will or will not be able to win a national championship. And we have Jalen Milroe's 40 time. In fact, I don't know if we can do this. We've got video of it. Does Scott, Tyler, could either you or Scott do the video? EG has sent it in.
Do we want to hold it till right before trash?
Yeah, we'll hold it before trash. We'll give you video, and we've got the 40 time. And
they're already ready.
Oh, they're already ready. Of course they are. We're talking about Scott and Tyler here.
Scott has been on a heater lately.
He has been on a heater lately. All right, we've got 40-yard dash video. Here is Jalen Milroe running the 40.
Okay, before this,
tell me what you think it looks like.
Okay, I told you 4.58, but I'll tell you right here.
All right. He's at the starting blocks. And go. Boy, he looks fast, doesn't he? He runs pretty smooth, too, right?
Yeah, he's smooth, but I still think that's in the 4.58 range.
4.5 is the initial report on that one. Now,
look at all that fat on that kid.
Yeah, he's not cut up at all, is he?
He looks like Dunaway on way to wellness.
Yeah, Dunaway can look like that. He'd never wear clothes. 4.5 are the reports on that.
Okay.
We'll get the confirmation
that's a
because
really, really good time.
Sometimes at those pro days, you're just looking over somebody's shoulder at a stopwatch to get a time.
Yeah.
And they'll end up having a consensus official time, so we'll see what that consensus official time is.
How about this? He's fast enough. And again, when you've got your scouts out there, you got your general managers watching film, when you see his separation in pads, so he might be a 4.5 out there, but his football speed is more 4.4.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a guy that was – I never saw Jalen Milroe I shouldn't say never. Rarely saw him get run down. Very few people are able to walk him down. So I'm happy with his football speed, even if his actual speed is not that. EG says the unofficial is 4.5. Again, you got a ton of scouts. They're all doing hand time. They'll get a laser time or they'll do a consensus on the hand time.
Well, I wonder how he's throwing the football because he is in the friendly confines, Tuscaloosa receivers he knows.
That's right.
So that will be interesting, and I think that's what people want to see. They know he throws the deep ball well, but the intermediate routes underneath, how accurate can he be on a consistent basis?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question you have to ask about him. That's what he has struggled with. So there you go. There's Jalen Milroe running the 40. There's teams that can or can't win the national championship. I don't know what else we could do for you except do some trash, which is what we'll do on the other side. A reminder, though, as we go to break, a couple things. The renovation of my master bathroom and the renovation of the top of Lance's head, you're getting your hair cut today?
I'm getting a cut today, yeah.
Because I know it's getting a little long up front there.
Yeah, it is.
Dr. B doing some work.
Dr. B, man, best in the business. I did the treatment again last night on the couch watching North Carolina destroy the Aztecs. If you are starting to thin out, be preemptive here. Call our man, Dr. Beckenstein, 205-319-0316. Dr. B, for more than 20 years, women and men have turned to him for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. T3's got that new test, so easy, painless, affordable. Takes 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents that they can use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical form. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing your hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and that great staff. Find out what will work. 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, t3hair.net.
We apparently have some scout times. We'll give you those when we come back for Jalen Milroe. A reminder when it came time to redo the bathroom in my house. The master bath, it was my guy, Brad Bell, A+. And you can see more at AlabamaBathRemodels.com. That is AlabamaBathRemodels.com. Or call Brad, 205-422-1758. When it came time to redo the master bath, my wife scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. Brad was the guy she picked. He specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. Not all he does, but it's definitely his specialty, and it's where you'll make your money back when you go to sell your home. 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758 for Brad Bell. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. Or call Brad Bell and get him to come bid your job, and you'll be thrilled you did. 205-422-1758 or AlabamaBathRemodels.com. Trash is next.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
When the clock hits 0, go to all Next Round video platforms for instant reactions for the latest Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Follow, like, subscribe, and set those alerts. The madness starts now, so be a part of it at Next Round Live on all social platforms.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new Chicken and Bowberry Waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try Chicken and Bowberry Waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now, code NEXTROUND, and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
All right, we got attempt number 2 for Jalen Milroe in the 40, which apparently, hang on, I'm going to read the times here. If you give me 1 second from EG, I got to pull it back up on my phone.
Okay, as you're doing this, I wanted to ask you proper etiquette. We had a friend listener stop by, Morgan, and he brought a couple of bottles of bourbon, and he brought cups.
Okay.
I'm like, dude, I don't really, we do the Bam and Bourbon once a week.
Yeah.
Where the new edition's already out, right, Forster?
Yes, it's out.
Yeah, a little Pappy on that one, courtesy of our guy Alexander Shinara.
Yeah, Alexander Shinara dropped us another bottle of Pappy because Dunaway bitched so much. And, of course, Dunaway bolts to Cleveland, doesn't even get any of the Pappy.
Oh, did it all get gone?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
He said he was going to have someone who came back.
Yeah. We've got that thing put up. But anyway, Morgan stopped by, brought a couple of bourbons I've never had, and he's like, hey, let's have some sips. And I'm like, damn, dude, it's Wednesday at 11 o'clock.
in the day.
And so I poured one, and I've had like a sip. But proper etiquette, you gotta have one, right?
Yeah, you can't not finish it.
Just checking.
A little Toby Keith Red Solo Cup, too.
Yeah, right. Classy.
Yeah.
That's the way we do it up here, man.
So Milroe is running attempt number 2. The report from the NFL, and EG said everyone was saying it got reported that he ran a 4.44 or a 4.46. That was 2 scout stopwatches, but it's laser timed. Is this the second one, Scott? Is this
by the way, I would think it is a friendly time.
Yes, this is number 2.
Well, but they do laser time, so you're not going to beat that one. 4.37 on his second one.
Okay,
according to the NFL.
This is why I thought he would run in Indianapolis, and this is why I thought the numbers weren't going to be as good because he waited till the pro day. You run that in Indianapolis, you think about that's one of the top stories coming out of there.
Yeah, 4.37 for a quarterback. That is motoring.
And again, he does it with such ease.
Yep. Yeah, he does not look strained at all.
It looks like Rich Eisen out there running the 40, doesn't it?
I just remember Kirby Smart after that Alabama-Georgia game was like, the guy would be the best running back in America, and he can throw the football. Now, that was his best game in a Crimson uniform. He never played a better game than he played against Georgia that night.
Man, LSU was pretty good.
It was good. I'm going to go level of competition and say Georgia was better. But you're right, LSU was dang good. I can't deny that. But
he's one of those kids you got to pull for. I'm hoping he gets a opportunity to go early first day. We'll see. But I mean that time helps.
Yeah. People are sending us video now of Pat McAfee giving us the shout out, showing the video while our guy DJ's on there. Daniel Jeremiah is on there with him from the NFL Network, and he's showing the video of.
I'm sure DJ was like, let's pause this draft talk. Tell you about my friends in Birmingham.
That's right. My guys in Birmingham.
I used to do a show with a guy named Ryan Brown that's one of the hosts there.
Have you ever heard of DJ Football?
Perhaps you've heard of me. I am Daniel Jeremiah. So being reported by the NFL, a 4.37.
Hey, that's that. If that is legitimate, if they go with that time, I think and this is crazy based on 140 run. I mean, that's right there with 2017 Lamar. And I brought that up. I think he goes in the first round with that time.
Do you, coming out of Louisville, okay, just try to go, don't pay any attention to anything you've seen in the NFL for Lamar Jackson, okay, to be fair on this question. Coming out of Louisville, better passer, Lamar Jackson or Jalen Milroe right now?
Lamar, so I go back.
Significantly better?
No, I go back to Lamar's first season winning the Heisman Trophy.
Bless you,
by
Tyler.
the way.
Mike was still on when he stays too, by the way.
So,
or Scott was one of the two.
Lamar, when he won the Heisman Trophy, was a little more raw. He was a little more Milroe-like to me.
Right.
But, that follow-up season where I think they lost 5 games, he became a much better passer.
Okay.
And remember, he fell all the way to 30, I think is where he went.
So
30, 31, or 32
well,
to
Baltimore was drafting him, and Baltimore was never bad then.
Right, and so I think this could be a luxury for Jalen Milroe. He might fall to a team at the back end of the first. It maybe doesn't need somebody right now, but maybe they need their future starter in a year or two.
Yeah, so you would say a significantly better passer than Milroe or just marginally better than Milroe? Coming out of Louisville.
I would say marginally.
Marginally better than Milroe.
I would say this about Lamar. Lamar had more consistency.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I think is going to drive general managers nuts. Like, I can't have you be this good and then not even just average, but bad at times.
And to Lamar's credit, when he made it to the NFL, he's played at an MVP level numerous times.
Yeah, and the thing about Lamar, and you go back and just kind of rack your brain on this, and there were some losses that jumped out, like, I think a loss to Houston. But Lamar never had bad games. I just don't remember him. Now, as soon as I say this, somebody will probably pull up he had a 5-interception game. I just don't remember him having some of the duds that Jalen Milroe has had.
Yeah. Now, I would have guessed, and it's hard for me to remember because you get so affected by what Lamar Jackson has done in the NFL, which is have a tremendous career so far. But I don't remember Milroe looking as good as Lamar did at Louisville, but I also wonder if some of that is level of defense he's going against. I mean,
Possibly.
There's part of that too.
And I'll give it's hard to win a Heisman Trophy and be better at the next level. And say what you want about Lamar in the postseason, Lamar has been a better quarterback at the next level after winning a Heisman Trophy.
Better than what he was at Louisville, absolutely, yeah. And he was playing.
And that's hard to do.
And he was playing for a really good offensive coach in Bobby Petrino too. I mean, so he had a lot of advantages at Louisville.
Yeah, I think you will hear this though, and I don't know what McAfee said, but I think more and more people are going to pick this up if it is a legit 4.35, 4.38, whatever that number is.
4.37 is what the NFL sent out. So when the NFL sends it out, I'm assuming they've got the access to the numbers that a lot of the people in Tuscaloosa, like EG, who's just local media, not the NFL, that we don't have.
Well, you're going to get the comparison of Lamar Jackson. That's exactly where this thing is going to go, I think. And if you're, one of the front office guys that likes Milroe a lot, this just made you fall in love with him. Like if you're like, this guy's got a ton of upside. He's a little raw right now. I think we refined the skills a little bit. He's going to be a starting quarterback one day. You see this, that's when you start pushing the general manager. This is going to be the guy. This is going to be the hidden gem. And that's why I think he's going to slip into very late first or early to mid-second.
We talk about it all the time. It only takes one team, Lance.
That's all it takes.
You can, 31 NFL teams can think you can't play quarterback in that league.
Somebody thought J.P. Lossman out of Tulane was going to be good.
Yep. And I always make the point, everybody talks about Tom Brady, going in the, 7th round or 6th round for Brady? Was it 6th round? And everybody was like, well, 31 teams didn't like him. I was like, hey, don't forget, New England didn't like him for 5 rounds. 32 teams didn't like Tom Brady. It just finally got to the point where New England was like, okay, we got to take somebody.
How many teams
here.
like Brock Purdy?
Nobody. I mean, again,
even San Francisco.
San Francisco didn't
They're like,
him for,
damn, it's about to run out. Let's just, hey, I saw that Brock Purdy play at Iowa State. Let's just take it.
San Francisco didn't like him until the very end of the draft. So, I mean, even sometimes when one team doesn't fall in love with you. But in terms of being a first rounder, it's going to take one team to fall in love with you.
And Milroe at least made money today. A lot of money.
I think so with that speed. That speed should make you some money. Again, it's the NFL that has released 4.37. Apparently, Alabama has as well.
How do you have a discrepancy between a 4.5 and a 4.37?
Well, I never saw a 4.5. EG said people were saying 4.5.
Oh, okay.
The first reports I saw were a 4.4. So I could see a 4.4 to a 4.37. Hand time versus laser time. That could be that's a reasonable discrepancy there. 0.7 of a second on a hand time to a laser time. So you think that'll be a pretty big story?
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be a really, really big story because I saw earlier today people were trying to figure out could there be 4 quarterbacks drafted, in this upcoming draft, and I think the resounding answer was no. But when you see something like this, I think Jalen's got an opportunity now, and who knows, maybe. I think there are teams that probably like Jalen more than they like Jackson Dart.
Oh, probably so. I've seen him be a lot more elite than Jackson Dart has. Jackson Dart probably, for what he is, more consistent than Milroe.
Yeah.
But his highs are nowhere close to Milroe's highs.
I mean, there's such a bigger, better ceiling right now for Jalen Milroe.
All right, before we go to trash, a reminder, nextroundlive.com is where you want to go. The Shannara Showdown up and live right now. All you got to do is go pick the game we give you every night of the tournament against the point spread. Tonight's game, of course, is going to be Texas Xavier. Where are we playing that at the Shannara Showdown? At 3.5? 3.5.
I think I haven't checked Shannara, but the updated number I got was 3.5.
Yep, Shannara Showdown. All you got to do is go in and enter your information. We don't ask a ton from you. You just got to enter that info and make a pick. And we'll log it. If you get the pick right, you're in the drawing, and we're going to give away some cold hard cash cards from Shannara.
1,000 to first place, 500 second, 250 third place. So you don't have to win this whole thing. And again, you've only got to pick one game correctly to get into this drawing. It's that simple from our friends at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys.
That's right. You can see that at nextroundlive.com, and you can also get in the MyBookie Bracket Challenge, the more traditional bracket. So we're doing it 2 ways, where you can pick one game at a time. See, this way, even if you have a crappy first day of the bracket, you're not out of this. You can go get even more chances with Shannara. But hurry, because the deadline is soon at the MyBookie bracket at nextroundlive.com, mybookie.ag, bringing you that bracket right now. And you can go fill that out under the contest section at nextroundlive.com. First place, you're going to get yourself a TV, and you're going to win great prizes, paying 10 places right there, courtesy of mybookie.ag. When you go to nextroundlive.com, that is nextroundlive.com. You can win both places with the Shannara Showdown. and the MyBookie.ag bracket. And don't forget, MyBookie.ag, a place you can play all these games we talk about when we talk point spreads. Code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Get you a 50% sign-on bonus in the sportsbook up to $1,000 and also a $10 casino chip. 50% sign-on bonus and a $10 casino chip at MyBookie.ag with code NEXTROUND. With all of that being said, let's do a little trash right now. Hit it, Tyler.
After the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
I've probably heard it 1,000 times, and I laugh every time.
Now, you did hear he is blind and gay, though. That did come out after.
I could be. I don't know. Halloween, we met him.
It is buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take those next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to their website, mortgageright.com. Call that Birmingham Highway 280 office, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. I don't know, as a kid, did you ever have the McDonald's birthday party? I remember having one. I was like 3 or 4.
I don't think I did. I think I wanted to, but I don't think my parents would do it for some reason.
We had it in the underground area at the Green Springs McDonald's. This would be back in the 70s.
Yeah, see, the McDonald's over here were bigger than the McDonald's in Calhoun County. We had the one that was downtown. Now, we had a good playground right there on Quintard Avenue. You had the fry guys.
That's where I'm going on this.
Okay.
So, like, if I can't remember, outside of like coming back from the beach, stopping at a McDonald's, but trying to be quick with everything you eat. But I guess people still go for the play area.
Right.
But a McDonald's in Franklin, Tennessee, attracting viral attention after a customer called out the children's play area. Ex-user at Nancy A. French posted an image of the play place writing, quote, "This is so heartbreaking. I'm at a new McDonald's in Franklin, and look at their play place for children. 2 screens, 2 chairs. Now, McDonald's, according to a McDonald's spokesperson, quote, "Our franchise is proud to provide family-friendly spaces across many of our U.S. restaurants. While this restaurant has a few interactive features for younger guests, it does not represent the full play place design and experience." Now, the ex-user added a video to her thread saying, quote, "I went back to make sure I didn't miss something. There was this column thing that might be for getting kids to exercise, but I don't think it is temporary. I think this is it." Now, some people have gone the other way, and they're like, hey, look, McDonald's isn't like a daycare, which I agree with.
Yeah, I mean, I
think it's a luxury if you get one of these that has an extra place, but if they don't, they don't.
I'm not going to name names, but I know an owner of a restaurant that wow, that was a bad miss right there. You hit Tyler more than you hit the camera. That was known for their indoor playgrounds, and I have heard all the headaches that brings with them. It's not all rainbows and unicorns when you've got a bunch of kids inside a playground.
Yeah, I mean, people started bringing guns to Chuck E. Cheese.
Well, they did. This has not gotten to that level. This is more about sometimes kids have to go to the bathroom and they don't want to leave the playground, so they don't tell mom and dad. So where do they go to the bathroom? Oh, yeah. And then mom and dad are like, well, I'm not cleaning that up, so they just leave. Or sometimes, the lunch rush, we need every available table, but mom is sitting there letting...
Yeah, mom and dad don't clean that up. You got to clean up after your dog when it takes a shit in the dog park.
Yeah, not everybody does that, though. Do you sometimes step on dog crap in the dog park? I mean, not everybody follows the rules, yeah.
It's Savage that does that.
I don't disagree with you. Now imagine not cleaning up after an actual human.
Florida man, apparently upset he wasn't receiving a free ride home from the hospital, decided to, steal an ambulance. Lead cops on a police chase, according to officials. Florida Highway Patrol troopers responded around 8:30 p.m. Saturday to a Tampa hospital after a man later identified as 43-year-old Michael Esquilin allegedly stole a Tampa Fire Rescue ambulance. Now, troopers spotted the stolen ambulance within 10 minutes, attempted to pull him over. Esquilin apparently was not done. Fled from the attempted traffic stop, blew through several stop signs, and while the ambulance's emergency lights were turned off, according to troopers, he started driving the wrong way down a city street, narrowly avoided crashing into oncoming traffic. Eventually, Tampa police officers stopped him. However, Esquilin allegedly decided to spend more time in the ambulance. He swigged the rest of his beer and then held onto the steering wheel as the cops tried to pull him out. Esquilin said he had been drinking for 2 days and was upset the paramedics in the ambulance declined to give him a ride home, so he decided to steal it.
That is smart. Yeah, I can't get a ride home. I'm drunk, so I've now told a first responder I'm too drunk to drive home, right? And you won't give me a ride home now. There was a dead hit, so you made a nice comeback there. I'm too drunk to get a ride home, so now I'm going to steal it and drive it drunk. When I've already told you I'm too drunk to drive home. Tyler, if we could...
Johnny Manziel's uncle?
Johnny Manziel's uncle that is going wayward, yes.
Yeah, nose grows every year along with your ears.
If we could zoom in on his forehead, I believe...
It's a Michigan State tattoo.
He might have gotten taken to the ground during the arrest, is what it looks like there, Tyler. And I thought his face was just tatted up, but his face is actually just, that's the watermark of the sheriff's department.
Yeah, he does not have the sheriff's office logo tatted on his face.
Yeah, initially I thought that was just plain tattoos. I didn't realize it was the watermark there.
He was facing a slew of charges: burglary, grand theft, fleeing, eluding, DUI, a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Probably going to spend a little time behind bars.
Yeah.
Buyers who purchase a home at an auction expect to encounter any number of issues in exchange for a low price. But finding a dead body is not something most real estate investors are prepared for. Real estate investor and TikToker at Mighty Ice has been documenting the cleanup process of a house he bought at an auction. The home's previous occupant seems to have struggled with hoarding, as evidenced by footage of the floor blanketed in trash and neglected belongings. He begins the video posted March 14th. So this is a house I bought Friday at auction. We just started to clean it out, found something I've never found before at a house, he said as the camera panned to human remains amidst piles of junk. This is freaking wild, he went on to say. Guess I got to call the police now. Now authorities, including the police, fire department, and coroner's office, arrived at the scene to recover the remains. Homeowner was asked to pause cleanup while the investigation continued. Went on to say, quote, the detective asked me not to enter the house. We boarded it back up. Now, disturbingly, the coroner also noted that one of the body's arms was missing, though an animal is suspected to be responsible. In an update provided Monday, the TikToker revealed the coroner identified the remains as belonging to a friend of the former homeowner, whom he suspected may have been a romantic partner. Through the coroner did not reveal any details of the relationship. So what, she just stayed over, fell asleep, died, and a dog ate her arm?
That's what it sounds like.
That's a bad day.
This guy posted pictures of the remains.
You're off.
And I chose to pull the TikTok
Yeah,
instead.
I think the TikTok's good to go. I don't think we need pictures of the remains. Right now, I'm going to the pin.
Were
this guy has lost his pitch.
I was like 2 feet off on that one.
You've hit the window twice. Okay, we're back. I shouldn't have gone to the pin.
I'm erratic right now. I'm Ricky Vaughn.
Hey, yeah, it's true. The whole hoarder thing. Like, I remember us talking about it back in the radio days and people telling us that there's actually a medical diagnosis of this. Mm-hmm. There's also an element of laziness, isn't there?
No, it's lazy. It's lazy.
I mean, I can see that there's a medical diagnosis that you can't throw. I get all that, but that's not everybody that's a hoarder. Some people that are hoarder are just plain lazy.
No, when you decide not to wash your dishes and there's shit in the sink, you're lazy.
You're just lazy, right? Yeah. I mean, it's not all medical.
Like, I don't know about
issue.
you. I cannot leave the house, and this is weird, because what I don't want is to die in a car crash, and then somebody's got to go to my house, and they see a bunch of shit laying around. I want it neat. Like, my house is almost staged like it's for sale.
Okay.
Bed's got to be made in the morning, nothing in the sink.
Yeah, we don't make the bed all the way.
And that's why these two dogs are so frustrating to me. Like, a hoarder wouldn't care. You can just piss on all their stuff.
Because you know what these dogs want? Complete and utter chaos in your house. They don't care if it's
That's why they don't like it. They want to live with a hoarder, maybe.
So we pull the sheet and then the one fold over, but we don't put all the decorative pillows and all back on.
I do the decorative pillows.
Holy crap, every morning?
And it's, I still don't know why I've got decorative pillows. That's a Maddie thing, but it's like 7.
I don't know how many we've got. They end up kind of stacked over in the corner.
But it only takes...
I have a total of 0.
You know, you're a guy.
You are a guy.
Living by yourself.
And it's awesome.
When a female comes into your life, they bring decorative pillows.
Yeah, they do. It's just part of it.
It's just the way it goes.
Like, I never would have had pillows on my couch, but all my couches have pillows on
I've never understood couch pillows either.
Don't really either.
It's a female thing. Yeah. You just... Tyler, in marriage, a lot of times, you just say, that pillow must have needed to go there.
I'm learning a lot today.
I'm going to move it to take a nap. But it must have needed to be there before I got this nap, right? And then when you're done with the nap, it's best to put that pillow back. I mean, that's a good rule.
And sometimes I will actually, I won't use the pillow on the couch. I'll actually get a pillow out of my bed to use if I'm going to take a nap on the couch. You ever do that?
Yeah, because most of the decorative pillows aren't comfortable for a nap.
They're not comfortable, yeah.
Now, I do, again, there are some mental disorders that go with this, but there's also, that's not everybody. Some people are just plain lazy.
Yeah. Now, like... It depends on what kind of hoarding. Like with food hoarding, that's typically like related to trauma in their childhood, like food insecurity, and so they just stock up on everything and start preserving stuff, and then it all goes bad.
Yeah, that's a mental issue, right? I get that.
I thought that was a doomsday prepper.
Well, I think those are those people, but they're doing it for a different reason.
There's probably some overlap there.
Yeah, you're probably right. The Venn diagram probably has some overlap in that one.
Yeah, I would say that. I would go a majority of hoarders are just lazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many there are. That's a majority. I don't know. It's a lot of people.
I don't know. I've seen the show.
No, I'm saying
some of them are pretty gross.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, the majority of hoarders are lazy.
Yeah, maybe so. And there, again, like Tyler said, there might be a crossover, laziness and a mental disorder. You may have both, which is probably how you end up with that.
It's almost like
some
when you
people, when they're struggling, like cleanliness and hygiene's the first thing that falls off their schedule.
Yeah.
Just because they feel like, what's the point? And so they don't take pride in cleaning their house or themselves.
Yeah, it's just
I saw and this is random, so I'll just Google things, but there was a conversation that came up about how many times I brush my teeth a day. I don't know where you guys are on this. It's normally 3. It's never less than 2. Sometimes it can be as many as 5 or 7 times, depending on what's going on.
5 to 7 showers a day, is that what you said?
No, brushing the teeth.
Brushing teeth. I thought you said showers. I'm probably max 4.
That's probably about where I am every day. But I'm just saying it's never less than 2. The average person is a little less than 2 brushes a day. There was like 15% of the people don't even brush their teeth once a day.
Well, let me ask you this. You've been at home for more than a beat, and you're going back out you're not just running to the store, you're like going somewhere extended. Do you always brush your teeth?
Always.
Me too, every single time.
I'll tell you this. I used to, when I would get up in the mornings to run, again, this is another, I've got issues, but I would brush my teeth before I would go run because I don't want to get hit by a car and then have bad breath.
I want my youngest.
I would think a dead person has bad breath anyway.
Well, probably
initially. But I'm hoping I survive.
Yeah, maybe not initially.
Yeah, and then you got to talk what happened.
If somebody's got to do mouth to mouth, you don't want it to be morning mouth, right? This is a weird compulsion by me. I'll admit it, but
I brush my teeth when I'm going to the doctor.
I walk my daughter to the bus stop every morning, and I brush my teeth before that. The only person I encounter at that bus stop is my daughter.
Yeah.
But I still brush my teeth. I'm going outside of the house. I don't know why I do that, but I do it every single morning.
Do you ever brush your teeth in the shower?
Never done that. The only reason I see to do that is to hurry, and I've never been in a big enough hurry that I need to brush my teeth in the shower.
Yeah, I used to, but now I've got the water pick. So I do the water pick. I only do it once a day, but I do it in the morning.
Oh, I do too.
And then I'll brush my teeth after the
water pick is a game changer.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it replaces flossing, I'm told.
Yeah, I still floss once a week. Now, I was trying to floss every night, which is a pain in the ass, much easier on the water pick.
Yeah, water pick just makes my mouth feel fresh.
But anyway, my whole point on this, if you only brush your teeth once a day, you are lazy. Something is wrong with you.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Well, I don't consider it good hygiene, but maybe some people can get away with it. I think your average dentist says more than once a day.
Yeah, brushing takes 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's very easy to do. Oh, you had one more story?
That's it.
Oh, is that it? That's
no,
it?
I do have one more.
You got one more
Damn,
story?
dude.
I thought I see one sitting over there.
Tracy Morgan. We brought this up yesterday, shared an update after his courtside medical incident at the Knicks game. He went on to say, quote, "Thank you all for your concern. I'm doing okay now. Doctors say it was food poisoning." Now, he turned 56, or he is 56 now. He shared this on Instagram yesterday alongside with a photo of himself giving that thumbs up that you see right there. He goes on to say, "Appreciate my MSG family for taking such good care of me. I need to shout out to the crew that had to clean it up. Appreciate you. More importantly, the Knicks are now 1-0 when I throw up on the court, so maybe I'll have to break it again out for the playoffs." Now, Morgan became ill during the Knicks game against the Heat. MSG, Monday, March 17th, attendees claimed on X that the comedian vomited while others alleged he had a bloody nose. One image appeared to show him vomiting onto the floor. Another social media video saw him being taken away in a wheelchair. So they delayed the game in the third quarter for roughly 10 minutes. He is actually working on an upcoming untitled comedy pilot on NBC opposite Daniel Radcliffe, who was the Harry Potter kid, right?
Yep.
And Tracy Morgan is going to play a disgraced former football player looking to remake his image.
And Daniel Radcliffe, I believe, is his agent.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a good movie, you think, Tyler?
I think it'll be an entertaining show. We'll see.
Hey, I love Tracy's part in the hair there. Is he a little bit of a part?
Maybe so. I don't know.
And a gray eyebrow here and there.
He's in a hospital bed, so I don't think it's going to be his best
Man,
luck.
he's had a rough go from the
Has.
Walmart.
Poor guy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, to this.
That is Trash, presented by Mortgage Right.
Yeah, hey, they are your mortgage experts. No cost or obligation to find out what you may qualify for, whether you're buying your first home or your final home. Call our friends at Mortgage Right. Get a quote from them, 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
All right, let's take a Michelson Laser Vision look ahead at tonight's games. Our friends at Michelson Laser Vision will help us do that after I tell you the point spreads at mybookie.ag. American, look, they're playing to be a 16 seed to get routed by Duke. They're a 2.5-point favorite over Mount St. Mary's. The Mountaineers, Texas, is playing for much higher stakes because the winner of the Texas-Xavier game could advance over Illinois. They're going to play for that 11 seed tonight. Xavier, a 3-point favorite. The Michelson look ahead first, brought to you by our friends at Michelson.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call for more information. You can always go online, go to michelsonlaservision.com.
Your look ahead tonight, American Mount St. Mary's doesn't really matter to me. They're going to lose in the first round. What does Texas have to do to beat Xavier? They're a 3-point dog.
Well, I think Texas just needs to play with urgency, and you've got scorers. You've got a lot of young guys that have never been here. They understand, especially a guy like Trey Johnson that Ron Slay brought up. It's a one-and-done situation. Only time he'll ever play in the NCAA tournament. He's going to be a lottery guy, and I don't know what I expect from Texas. Just so inconsistent in the regular season.
They are. I mean, this is a team that if they had missed the tournament, if they're on the wrong side of this, they probably fire their coach. I think
Still
Rodney
could.
Terry, they still could.
Now,
but
going against Xavier and Sean Miller, and a coach, by the way, at one point was viewed as the best active coach that had yet to go to a Final Four. You look at Sean Miller, I think he's gone to 7 or 8 Sweet 16s. He's had a lot of success. Yeah. This guy can coach. Xavier's had a lot of tournament success. There's a reason they're a 3.5-point favorite tonight.
All right, we'll be leading up to Auburn tipping tomorrow and Alabama tipping Friday on this show. Dunaway in Cleveland with Bama. Little T up there in Lexington with Auburn. We'll talk much more about it on tomorrow's show. Thank you for joining us today. Thanks to Ron Slay for being with us. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m.